Yo, yo, yo! Welcome, friends, family. The Privy masterclass. Super grateful to be here today, to have all of you come hang out with me. Let me just first share with you guys why we're doing this. Well, I, as you guys know, have a beautiful relationship with this incredible real estate software company, Privy. And I use it almost, exclusively for comping. I also use it at Keegley. Our acquisition reps find great on-market opportunities. We use it for connecting with real estate agents. We use it to find buyers. We use it for a tremendous amount of resources and uses. And I unfortunately have come to learn that many of you don't know all of the incredible uses that Privy has available for you. And so I thought, since I've been away for a couple of weeks, wouldn't it be cool if we all got together and for a few hours went through and looked at all of the different things that you can do in real estate using Privy? So I hope you guys brought notebooks. I hope you guys are here to learn today. Just so you guys are aware, I have, there's not going to be like, and after the end of this 4-hour training, you can buy, this thingamabobber. That's not it at all. You guys already know what we're going to be using here. We're going to be using Privy. So if you're not a Privy user, you may make a decision to become a Privy user, which is totally your prerogative. If you're already a Privy user, you're going to really learn today how to use it. So before we get started, before I bring Benson on, because I don't want to hurt his feelings, right? Because if some of you guys aren't using Privy, Benson's going to be sad. But I just want to see in the chat how many people we have that are Privy users and how many are on another platform. So if you're a Privy user, I want you to write PU in the chat. PU. I'm a Privy user. And if you're not a Privy user, I want you to put a big L in the chat because you're a loser. No, I'm just joking. But put a big L in the chat if you're using something else. And if you're using like PropStream, or if you're using Batch, or if you're using something else to help you with your comping and all of the things. I just want to get a good understanding of if we've got a lot of users with us or if we have people who are wanting to learn about it. Cool. So lots of Privy users. So incredible. Guys, I'm really, 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 really happy you guys showed up. All of you guys that are here, that are already using Privy, because you are going to learn today how to maximize this incredible real estate tool to just, catapult your business. Now, real quick, again, before I bring Benson up, we're going to teach you how to do business in wholesaling, start to finish, using Privy. You can actually do this business start to finish using Privy. You can use Privy to find deals. You can use Privy to underwrite those deals. You can use Privy to connect with the real estate agents who control those deals. And you can use Privy to find the buyers that will buy those deals. Start to finish, Privy is the most comprehensive tool that is available out there. I don't endorse things lightly. Okay. In case you guys are not aware, Privy was actually wanting to work with myself and Pace for a long time before we actually became partners. And the reality is we became partners with Privy once we saw that it was hands down unbeatable out when compared to other platforms out there. So I hope you guys, again, are here for the long haul. This is going to be a 4-hour day. Okay. So stay with us, have your notebook, go get your NASA space diaper. And I hope you got a cup of coffee, you got some snacks. I know Bobby has his, he has a whole bag of Cheez-Its right now by him. He's just waiting. He's going to sit there and he's going to be eating Cheez-Its the whole time.
I don't.
Oh. Wow. All right. Well, thanks. I was trying to make a joke and he's just like, you know what? F your joke. But if you could, and if you would, give some love in the chat to the one, the only, Mr. Shoulder Boulder himself, Benson Juarez. Benson, what's up, baby?
What's going on?
How you doing, dude?
Hey, great. What's going on, everyone? Thanks
Great
so
to
much for being here.
Yeah,
This is
man.
great.
Thank you for being here. This is going to be phenomenal. Excited. We got a lot of Privy users with us today, so that's great. We're going to have a lot of people enlightening themselves on how to best use this incredible tool. And we've got a few non-users with us. Okay, and not a ton of non-users, but we got a few non-users. Probably like 15 or 20 of them in here are not users. So, 20% of the people that are on right now. And so, Benson, can you walk us through very, top of line what's been going on at Privy, how things are going, what you guys have in store for us, and what's new in the zoo over there at the incredible company that you're a part of?
Oh man, it's been a whirlwind, Jamil. We've been hard at work adding new markets. We added some new markets recently that have been kind of waiting in the queue. We launched Portland. We launched Louisiana and New Orleans. We've got a couple new markets in Florida, Columbus, Ohio. We just launched Oakland and wine country in Northern California. So we're always adding in more and more markets. It's over like 120 direct to MLS markets.
Dang, dude.
Now, for those of you who are watching, you're probably familiar with the normal data sets that you're going to find out there, right? The public record data, the county record data. That's what you're going to find basically across all the different platforms that are out there. But we're the ones that have actually invested the time and the money to level up the quality and the timeliness of the data so that you're using the similar data sets to what agents and appraisers use. And it's really a game changer because if you're using old data to comp properties out or analyze deals,
Yep.
you might miss a really important data point that could help you negotiate for a higher price or cause you to maybe submit a lower price based off of new comparable data. And it's so important. We also have the photos, agent information. All that information is really proprietary to Privy.
Yeah, I've noticed, because sometimes I'll, for just, if I'm on my phone or something, I'll use Zillow occasionally to comp. And Zillow, it no longer has access to before and after photos any longer. So you don't have access to pics anymore on Zillow, which makes it really hard to comp on Zillow. Because if I can't see the condition of the property, how am I supposed to know if I'm looking at something that's ARV or not, right? And so one of the things that I really, 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 really love about Privy is that you guys do have those before and after pictures. I love the fact that you added markets. I got people in the chat right now just over themselves about the fact that you guys added Louisiana and New Orleans. That's been a market that we've been waiting for you guys to add. So thank you so much, Benson. And I know there's really no other platform out there that has direct to MLS data, guys. And I just want to reiterate what Benson said there. Direct to MLS data. The reason why the other platforms don't have direct to MLS and they have third party, they call it third party data, it's because it's cheaper. Okay, because going direct to the MLS, buying that data directly from the MLS is bloody expensive. I mean, I did a little bit of research to find out how expensive it really is. And I was shocked, Benson, at the amount of money that you guys outlay on a monthly basis just to provide direct to MLS data. It is, guys, we're not talking like thousands of dollars. We're not talking tens of thousands of dollars. We're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars to get that data. It's a massive investment. And you guys are really the only ones out there who do it. So just, if you guys would, all the L's in the chat, I love you guys. L stands for love, not loser. Please, please don't think I was trying to be negative to you, because I wasn't. I highly respect whatever competitor that you guys are using, but let us know who you are using. All of you L's in the chat. Who is the competitor that has gotten your business? Is it PropStream? Is it Batch Leads? What is it specifically that you guys are using so that we can have an understanding? And then if you could also, all the L's, tell us what your favorite your favorite feature of that platform is. Okay, just so we have an understanding of what it is that has won your business, right? So that we know. So yeah, Janine says property profile and Redfin. So I guess that's probably because it's those are free resources.
Yeah,
I don't know
people
about
are using free resources a lot
free
here, it looks
resources.
like. Yeah.
MLS, of course, MLS is great. But again, it can be complicated. I actually see lots of licensed real estate agents using Privy in addition to MLS just for the extra details.
Oh, yeah.
PropStream, again, PropStream is fantastic. The only gripe that I have with PropStream is that it's not direct to MLS data. It is third-party data. And I truly believe that they kind of did depart from servicing the wholesaler when they did sell PropStream to the title company. And so there's a few things there that, I think they could be doing differently. But again, this isn't to bash anybody. This is to actually just show you guys, because we love PropStream. We love Batch Leads. I'm really good friends with the owner of Batch Leads. Benson, of course, is friendly with all of these companies as well. They speak to each other. They're friends with each other. They're constantly working together. So guys, it's nothing but love here. But we definitely want to show you guys all of the goodness that we've got going on with this incredible tool. So, Benson, I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to bring up Privy. And I want to kind of start us from the dashboard, right? Because if you're a brand new user, or if you've been having Privy for some time, but you really don't know all the features of it, you don't know the nooks and crannies, let's start at the front page. So I'm going to pull this up on my screen.
Yeah, while you're doing that, I want to make two quick points.
Yes, sir.
The first is you're talking about the cost of it. It certainly is expensive, but that, in my mind, isn't one of the largest challenges with direct to MLS. It's the compliance. So we have a whole compliance team now that it's their only job to make sure that we're jumping through all the hoops. We're crossing all our T's and making sure all of our I's are dotted to make sure that that data is properly maintained. You can't just go to an MLS and be like, hey, give us your data. Here's $100,000 check. Like it doesn't work like that. You have to go through all the compliance processes. You have to talk to their board of directors. Everything has to be done according to their local processes. And then secondly, I will say too, as far as agents go, agents are some of our largest users. We're getting ready to do a big promotion. We just launched a bunch of features for agents so they can get branding, so they can get investor leads. And if you guys are looking for investor-friendly agents, we're going to be able to show you who those agents are in your target market that are actually doing deals and are investor-friendly.
Heck yeah, dude. Which, again, there's a myth out there that real estate agents and investors aren't friends. Guys, that is not true. I built the nation's largest wholesale operation on the backs of real estate agents. All right. They love working with investors, but you have to be an investor that does what they say they're going to do. You got to know your numbers. You have to understand what you're doing in this. They don't want you to waste their time, and you don't want to waste their time, and you don't want to waste your time either. Right. So today we're going to really be going through and showing you guys some of these processes so that you're not wasting time. And then also teach you how to connect with some of those agents. But Benson, I have on the screen right now the opening screen. So if you were to sign up for Privy, now again, for any of you guys that don't have Privy right now and you're interested in using it, you can go to runprivy.com. And do we have a special code today for anybody who does decide they want to become a Privy user?
We do, Jamil. And I talked to the team and we were like so fired up about this challenge that we did something we haven't done before for your community.
What is it?
So with promo code FLEX, they will get the annual plan for $999 for the year.
Hey, whoa, dude, that's less money than I pay.
Or if they go with the annual plan, they can actually get on a monthly payment of only $100 a month.
Hell yeah. Okay. So that's phenomenal, dude. That's actually really, 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 really good. So you guys, so at $100 a month for 12 months, that would be $1,200, $999. That's less than $100 a month. That's an actual like steal. So again, at any time during this live, if you're like, I've seen enough, I like Privy, I think I want to jump on it, you guys know where to go. This is, again, not a sales pitch for anything, because you guys know exactly what we're doing here. You know what we're using. And so I'm only letting you know about the tool that we're going to be using. So that's really the only purpose why I'm talking about that. So Benson, explain to me this initial screen. What information am I gaining from this screen, and why are these numbers important to me?
So there's a bit going on here, and it's, you only have to know this once, maybe twice, as you start to get a little bit more comfortable with the platform. But anytime we're trying to choose which market to work in, we want to make sure everything lines up for us. Like, we want as many check boxes checked in market selection. And one of the things that I think is most beneficial is our direct to MLS data. Now, wherever you see blue on the map, those are their direct to MLS data markets. Those are the ones that are live right now. Anything that's pink are markets that we're working on or coming soon.
Okay.
And then the areas where you see yellow and gray are our third party markets, similar to what you're going to find in batch leads or PropStream.
Got it. So all the blue here, this is where we're active. This is where we're live. This is where you're direct to MLS. Pink coming soon, and then yellow is basically PropStream, batch leads, level data.
Exactly.
And can you help me understand why it's not all blue? Why do you have these yellow markets? Is it there's less activity going on there? Is it harder in those markets? What are some of the reasons why we wouldn't have a specific market on the Privy platform for those users that are interested?
Yeah. Well, there's lots of reasons. So one of the biggest reasons is there's over 600 MLSs in the US. And you can't go and just go to one hub and get all the data. You have to go on a one by one basis. So that requires a lot of manpower to do. And most of those markets aren't created equal. So once we get to like 125 to 150, we'll have the majority of the markets that have, serious population, have investor activity, and are honestly just markets you should be investing in. Any place that's not blue is either a market we haven't gotten to yet, or it's a market that just doesn't have enough investor activity for it to be viable for us and for our users to go and do business there. So we'll continue to add more and more markets, but we ranked them all and we went from the top down. And so we're starting to add more and more tertiary markets. You can see up here, Maine, right? It's a coming soon market. We've got markets all around here. Seattle is a market that's actually, fairly difficult to get. That's why that one isn't added yet, but it's a range of different reasons.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. That does give us some clarity there. And guys, we will, and for those interested in knowing if you'll be in their market at some point, right? So for instance, I know you guys are working on Hawaii, Virginia Beach, areas like that. What would be the fastest and easiest way for people to find out when a new market gets added to Privy, if that's what they're waiting for?
Yeah, you can go to privy.pro, and then when you're on privy.pro, there's a section for markets, and you can go in there and it'll show you all of our markets that are live, as well as the markets that are coming soon. And there's even a place there, I think it's still there, where you can put in a request for a specific market. Now, it's all kind of like, supply and demand. We can't do all the markets all at once. We have to prioritize them. So if you request a market and it doesn't happen right away, we'll take note of it. And if we get that request over and over again, then that helps us prioritize which markets we're going to launch next.
Beautiful. All right, let's get to the numbers on the screen, because I think this is important for people in selecting a market, right? Because at the end of the day, guys, you don't necessarily have to work in the market you live in, right? I have Keighley offices all across the entire nation. Many of them are actually headquartered in Phoenix, and they do their wholesaling virtually. So they do their agent outreach, they do all of their communication, they do their TC and title work. Everything is done remotely from Phoenix in other markets. And so I would like to first have you guys really think about market selection. If you're brand new in wholesaling or you haven't yet picked your market, let's start there. So Benson, explain to me what the numbers on the side of the screen are. What is 170,000, 9,400, 3,400, and 521,000 mean? What are these numbers mean? And what indicators are they giving us so that we can understand what we're looking at?
So wholesaling is a comparable driven business, meaning a deal isn't a deal unless there's comparables that have numbers that prove that there's a margin there. And we use a term called after repair value, right?
Yep.
After repair value is king. You literally cannot determine after repair value on a property that you're evaluating if you're doing business in an area where no one's flipping. So we track all that investment activity nationwide, and more specifically, the one that says fix and flip that has 170,000. That's the number of fix and flips that have happened in the last 12 months nationwide. So
hold on a second. So there's been 170,000 fix and flips across the entire country.
The entire country in the past 12 months.
In the past 12 months. And are these only the blue markets, or is this all the markets?
It's all the markets.
All the markets.
All the markets. So the way that we determine a fix and flip, well, first of all, there's no data point in the MLS or in county records that's going to tell us that a house has been definitively flipped. But because we have historical data and not just current data, we're able to look for properties that look like they would be because they bought a property at a discount not too far back. We usually use about an 18-month time period. If that property was purchased, fixed up, and sold, and they bought it lower than 75% of the after repair value,
okay,
we call that a flip.
Right.
99% of the time it's a flip. But if you think about it, for a house to appreciate 25% in a year and a half would be very rare, right? It's
sure
not going to happen unless it's forced appreciation like a flip.
Correct.
Yeah, so that's why we track that. Now, if you click that button,
okay,
it will actually plot on this US map where all those areas are at. And then we use essentially like it's a heat map. So visually,
okay. So I
we
just
allow
clicked
you
it.
guys.
And you guys can all see my screen right now, right? So you've seen this. I've clicked this now, and here we go. So all of these numbers, help me understand what these numbers mean.
So those are representative of the amount of investor activity that's beneath that cluster. So if you see one, there's only one below there. If you see another market with, say, 596, that's like near Denver, that's how many fix and flips are below it. So when you're choosing a market, the more investor activity there is, the better data there is that will help you establish after repair value. These are also buyers. You guys, every one of these people that flipped a property, it's not just the data for the comp. There is a flipper that's associated with that comp. And this is also how we're going to teach you guys to build your buyers list down the road.
Amazing. You've even gone so far as to tell us the type of flip that they're doing. You know, a standard fix and flip. There's those really involved fix and flips where they, tear the entire roof off and they go vertical. They do this a lot in Colorado. They call it a pop top. So they pop the top off the house and then they go, 2-story. And then sometimes you do what's called an infill, where you tear a property down and you just start over again. That's kind of like the house that I live in right now. This was an infill. We knocked down the original house except for one wall and then rebuilt an entire home. And then this also tells us the number of properties below market. Explain this value to me.
Yeah, so these are properties that were purchased where we believe that they got it lower than what the retail price was.
Oh,
so
incredible.
We're tracking areas where there are some savvy investors, some savvy agents that were able to negotiate properties below market.
Got it. This is so good. Okay, so now that we know that, right? So we have an understanding of the heat of a specific area. How would you use Privy, Benson, to determine what market to go in? Would you say, look at the market you live in? If it's not a viable market for wholesaling or fixing and flipping or real estate investment, would you then look at the closest market to you that has investor activity? Or what would you do to really, really make sure that you are choosing the most appropriate market to do your business in?
Yeah, it's a really good question. And it's a layered process. I really think about a series of check boxes. The first one I mentioned earlier was, is there direct to MLS data there? Right? If you have blue in that market and you have direct to MLS, that's a checkbox.
Mm-hmm.
The next thing is investor activity. If you have an area that has a large circle with high numbers, then you know that the ingredients are there for you to be able to assemble a deal. The comparables you need to prove value to yourself so you know what to offer, the data that helps you understand the local market so you understand what people are buying properties for, what they're selling them for, how much money they're making, and then the demand for those properties in the back end after you get a property under contract so you can disposition it and get that assignment fee. The last one is it legal there? Right? So there are markets where it isn't legal to currently do an assignment to execute a wholesale strategy.
Right.
And then lastly, non-disclosure states. So non-disclosure states can be extremely challenging for wholesalers when you don't have data for comping. Now, fortunately for us with Privy, if you're a Privy user, that isn't something you have to deal with if we've already gotten direct to MLS data there.
Right.
And
Now,
the largest,
explain, what does a non-disclosure state mean? So that for the people who really haven't heard that term before, what does that mean, Benson?
So a non-disclosure state is when some legislators, state legislators, have decided that it might be invasive into the privacy of the people that live there to publicly show what a property sold for, but also property characteristics like Maricopa County, where you're at. If you don't have direct to MLS data in Maricopa County, you don't even know how many bathrooms are in a house.
True.
I think maybe sometimes they show bedrooms, but they hide data from you, which makes it more difficult to do your due diligence. In a lot of markets, they pull photos like immediately, or they don't show them at all. I was going to say earlier that Texas is the largest non-disclosure state in the country.
Right.
I don't know how anybody does business there, Jamil, if they don't have direct to MLS, if they're just using public record or even like Zillow.
It was really tough, right? I was prior to finding Privy, I was using a competitor and I was comping properties in Dallas on straight out of comping. Now, unfortunately, because they were using third-party data and they were making estimates based off of the deeds of trust, so essentially they were trying to give us information on sales in Texas, but because they weren't paying for the direct to MLS data feed, what they were doing is they were actually trying to extrapolate or predict what the sales price was based off of the deed of trust amount or the loan amount. And that is a messy way to do it. And it's highly inaccurate because you're not sure how much of a down payment people are putting down to purchase a property. Down payments fluctuate just like, shoulder sizes, as you can see from looking at Benson's profile here. I might say I want to put 30% down on a house because I want a lower mortgage payment. Benson's rich, and he might say, I want to put down 60% on my property because I barely want a mortgage payment. Now, if Benson puts down 60% and I put down 30%, that shouldn't, the purchase price wouldn't have changed on that property, but our competitor or one of the competitors out there would have seen that 30% or that 60% difference, and they would have assumed a different purchase price. And so that really affected the offers that we were making. And I found that a ton of people who were relying on that data ended up actually overpaying at times or over offering on properties at times. And then that the result after that is always catastrophic, right? You either cancel a deal, you buy a bad deal, or you have egg on your face when you send out what you thought was a deal to your buyers, and they all just respond with hate mail telling you that you should quit. So, this kind of thing happens when you don't have access to accurate data, especially for all of you Texans out there. Awesome. So we've got this. We're selecting a market based off of investor activity, based off of proximity. Again, I don't think you necessarily need to live in the market that you work in. It's advantageous if you have boots on the ground or people that you can collaborate with in that market, because if you need to do a showing or need to take pictures or do something that requires boots on the ground, it's always really good to know a little bit about that market or to have some people or resources in that market so that you can, actually conduct business and do things there. But these are the kinds of things that we're looking for. We're looking for these numbers. We're looking for these investor numbers, and that's going to tell us where there's activity.
And that's actually the last checkbox. And I'm glad you mentioned that about the proximity, or if whether or not that market is your backyard. That should be the last thing that you consider when you're trying to determine a market, not the first thing. So after everything else checks up, and if the market has everything that you want and you happen to live there, then that's a really good market for you.
Right.
But if you look at everything else and it turns out that your market doesn't have any of the other boxes checked, then I would do something virtual. And also too, I would also say that once it becomes virtual, if it's too far to drive, it doesn't matter if it's from Phoenix to Tucson or Philadelphia or Florida or Portland, because you're not going to drive there anyway.
Right.
Virtual is virtual.
I agree. And also it can be a distraction if it's a little bit too close, because then you will find reasons to drive out there. And guys, one of the things that I teach in the Astro community as a method of efficiency, especially when you're working with real estate agents love to meet for coffee. They love to say, hey, why don't we have a cup of coffee and you can tell me the things you're looking for, especially in today's climate where they're trying to get you to sign buyer broker agreements. They really want to meet for coffee so that they can talk to you about commissions before they start showing you properties. And so it's really important that you understand how to have those conversations so that you don't get trapped into having coffee, 5 times a week, because that'll take an entire day, right? My rule of thumb is I don't meet with the real estate agent in person until after we've already completed a transaction. That's my rule of thumb. We ain't having coffee till we've made money, baby. That's it. And unfortunately, that's just how I rock it, because I don't have time to sit down and go to Starbucks with you. I don't have time to sit down and do this right now. But if you and I are doing business together, I'm happy to make it. So just one of those things that I've done as an efficiency strategy for me is I don't meet with people in person, and doing business virtually, it forces me to be able to find creative ways to avoid meetings because I can't be there. I live somewhere else. So guys, just keep that kind of stuff in mind, because it's super, super important, especially if you're trying to do this incredibly efficient. All right. So,
Yep.
Benson, we've got our investor numbers. We've got an indication of where there's investor activity. Taking a look at what we've seen here, where would you say shortlist would be some of the hot spots for you if you were about to get started in this journey?
Yeah, if you don't mind backing out a little bit from the map here to give us more of a bird's eye view of the US. There are some markets. Some people ask me, well, how much investor activity is necessary, Benson, for it to be a good investment market? And I don't think there's a specific number per se. It's just you want to compare them to each other. So go ahead and just kind of scroll back out, Jamil, if you could, with your mouse. There is a minus sign on the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. Our faces are almost on top of it, but if you just hit there you go. Yep. And then this is going to recalculate and then put it back on the map. And so again, you want to go to where you have lots of blue, big circles, high numbers. So that actually happens to be mostly the Midwest and the East Coast. There are some on the West Coast. Obviously, the greater Phoenix area is a good market. But we talked about Texas earlier, Dallas, Fort Worth. If you're going to choose a market in Texas that has the highest amount of investor activity, higher than both Austin and Houston and San Antonio. Houston would probably be second for that.
Yep.
Once you get to the Midwest, you're going to see markets like St. Louis, which has good investor activity. Chicago has good investor activity. Now, there's some challenges there when it comes to disposition, but it hasn't really hurt it. It's still probably second or third for the top markets for you to do wholesale. Philadelphia has the highest amount of investor activity nationwide, the greater Philadelphia area. Yep. Some other markets that are pretty good are Wisconsin, and not Madison. What's the other one in Wisconsin? I can't think of it right now, and I can't see
Green Bay.
No, the other one. Darn it, I can't think of it right now. But yeah, there's a major city there: Chicago, Cleveland, St. Louis, Atlanta is a really good market. In North Carolina, it's going to be Charlotte. It's really, really hot. Oh, Detroit, Detroit is really popping right now, Jamil. I know you've been paying attention to Detroit. We have direct to MLS data there now too. That's one of our newer markets.
Awesome.
As you move south, and you're going to see markets like in Florida, Jacksonville, Tampa has the highest amount of investor activity in the whole state of Florida. You're also going to find some decent investor activity in Southeast Florida, in the Fort Lauderdale areas. Not so much Miami, but in between Miami and where Fort Lauderdale is. And then on the West Coast, if you're going to be looking for the highest amount of investor activity, it's going to be closer to like LA, right? Where the 110 and where the 5 cross.
Yep.
Over by
Like,
Sophie, Inglewood.
Yeah, Inglewood, and then you got those areas like Downey, Cerritos. You know, they're almost suburbs of LA, but you know, they are really, really, really great markets. Riverside as well, great market. Anywhere in the IE, again, really, really, really great markets over there. Lots of investor activity, lots of flipping going on there, lots of buying over there. And for all of you guys that have the limiting thought process that, you know, California is a hard market to succeed in. I was just in Los Angeles and I did an investor meetup there, and you know, a few hundred people showed up to that. And I can tell you from just speaking to each, because I had an opportunity to take a picture with everybody who was in attendance, and I was asking them when we were talking and we had an opportunity to meet. There are so many people succeeding out there. There are so many deals being done. And the assignment fees in Southern California, guys, are incredibly high. I mean, $25,000 on an assignment fee in SoCal is actually very low. You're typically looking at an average of around a $50,000 assignment fee. But know this, you're going to do fewer deals, right? You're not going to do as many deals, but they're going to be bigger deals. So it requires you to have a little bit more consistency and patience. Whereas if you're in a market like Indianapolis, you're probably going to do a higher volume of deals on a month-to-month basis, but your assignment fees are going to be reflective of that as well, right? So I've seen the average assignment fee in Indianapolis hover around $7,500. So between a $10,000 and $5,000 fee usually per deal. But it's easy to do 4, 5, 6, 10 deals in a market like that because there's just so much volume of activity going on just because of the price point. So these are things to keep in mind when you are making an assessment on a market. Now, I know we've got some really, really great people joining us today. We've got John Galan, who many of you guys might know. He's a Astro flipping community leader who actually got into wholesaling 2 years ago. And in 2 years, and how I know it's 2 years is I actually had him come to Clever Summit 2 years ago, and we have a new Clever Summit coming on this week. He showed up at Clever Summit and we shaved his beard on stage because he had just completed his first deal. And today he runs a business where he's touching a couple $100,000 monthly in his business. So he really, really, really scaled up. You know, he's at a point now where millions of dollars a year in assignment fees are the norm for him. And he's just continuing to grow. He's serving so many people at a high level. He's actually going to be here today, and we're going to be looking for opportunities. So I want to kind of set the stage for John because he's going to be with us in about 15, 20 minutes here. I know he primarily works in Florida, right? So why don't we just go to some of those Florida markets and then take a look at and help analyze so people can see what we'd be looking for in those specific areas. So I'm going to go over to Florida over here so we can kind of get ready for John's entrance. Yeah. Now, in looking at Florida, what would you say would be some interesting data points or things for me to keep in mind in wanting to do business out here?
Yeah, I will say too, you touched on it earlier, is that some people are going to have some fear about doing business in a virtual market.
Right.
They're going to think, oh, I don't have boots on the ground. I don't know that area. I don't know how I'm going to have any success. And the thing is that it's all in the data, right? Like being boots on the ground is going to help in certain situations, but at the end of the day, it's all about having the right pieces to assemble a deal. Now let's drill a little bit closer into that Tampa market, if you could.
Of course.
And this is how you learn a market, you guys. It's really simple. Back, 10 years ago, before there was anything like this, the only way you could really become an expert in a market is to do deal flow there. And it could take years and years to become an expert to really understand what's happening in that market. But with data, you can become a local market expert in minutes almost. So if you scroll down and go to the left a little bit, like pull it to the right, and then you can get down to the Tampa. I think it's like down into the left.
Okay, hold on one second. Let me pull back a little bit here and see what I'm looking at. Okay.
There you go. So there's Tampa. So Tampa has a lot of investor activity. You can see those large circles there, you guys.
Yep.
So if we get a little bit closer there,
sorry, 1 second.
We'll be able to see each individual transaction. And this is how you do your local market research, you guys.
Here we go.
What I say typically is get into one of the hottest areas and then look at the last 10 to 20 closed deals that happen in that market. And fairly quickly,
show us how to do that. So what would I do to find the last 10 to 15 deals that closed here, Benson?
So drill down to where that 223 is. Just click that cluster. And then once you get close enough, it'll break up into the individual transactions. So I can't tell. Looks like it's loading right now.
Ooh.
Here we go.
All right.
These are all fix and flips.
Wow.
Okay. Every one of these properties was a property that matches our definition of what a fix and flip looks like.
Now, people ask me all the time, and of course, I tell them what percentage of ARV they should be offering on. But how do we use Privy to help us determine what percentage of ARV we need to be offering on a property?
Yeah, so we'll start to look at a few of them. So let's scroll down on the left, and I'll pick one out here that I think would be a good example. So some of these here go a little bit further. I want to find one that has really good pictures. And there actually might not be any that have really good pictures at the moment, but let's go a little bit further here. That's right. There's one right there. Let's go ahead and use that one. Alfred.
Yeah, this looks like a nice potentially flipped property. Okay.
Yep. So this is the comparative market analysis. I don't know what John's going to talk about, but one of the challenges of wholesaling is understanding value.
Right.
And if you can't understand your numbers, you don't understand what as is value is or what after repair value is, then you'll never know what to offer. And so comping is really more of an art than it is a science. And this comparative market analysis is comping out every single property in the US 24/7. And if it's in a direct to MLS data, it's using the same data that agents use.
Right.
So we can go down to the comparable section. And the system has already pulled comparables. So we use the major property characteristics like bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, stories, property type, property style, and we use a half a mile radius, and it excludes any properties that aren't similar, same as like what an appraiser would do, right? So we get rid of those. What's remaining are the properties that match the subject property so that we could start to understand value.
Right.
So, but we won't get into it too much here, but if you scroll over to the right, see that one that says rentals, it's the purple.
Yep.
We also bring in rental data. So if you have landlords on your buyers list, which you should, because there's a lot of landlords out there that need help, not just flippers.
Yep.
You need to provide them rental data so you can speak their language. Yes, you want to.
Where are you getting the rental data from here for this?
It's a proprietary source, but it's a nationwide place that has rental data that comes from property management companies.
Oh, cool.
So if you click one of these here, just click one of those blue bubble or purple bubbles. That's going to scroll in from right there. And you can see there that this is actually the rental data. And that comes from the property management company. So we know what the property was listed for and what it actually rented for.
Got it.
And so that's great for, again, giving data to your buyers, but also to you guys, if something doesn't work from a discount perspective for like a traditional wholesale deal, there might be an opportunity to do something creative, like a subject to seller financing. And that's all about cash flow.
Absolutely. Is there any information that we get that we can garner from Privy that can help us in a creative transaction? like maybe loan information or anything of that nature that could be helpful to determine whether or not this would be a potential sub 2?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. If you go down again to the bottom, let's first show them the before and after. That is helpful to understand what a deal is.
Okay, so where would I find the before and after? I don't think there is one on this one. Is there?
There might not be. Go down to the public record section then, and we'll just. I want to show them if there's mortgage data. So
here we go. Here's our before and after. Okay, so that was what the property looked like. It doesn't look like it had much change to it. But it was bought in 21 at $330K, and then it was sold at $5.25. Okay.
Yep. So there was some margins there. It may not be like a full on fix and flip, but every property is different, right?
Correct.
So let's go into mortgage history, and sometimes we've got the mortgage data there if there's a current mortgage, and you can see here that there is one. So this is at a 6.94 percentage rate, which isn't great, honestly, for a sub 2 deal.
No, sir.
But they did have an older mortgage there that if you could have got it before they refinanced at 2.9, that would have been a good property for a subject to.
Absolutely. Anything I think sub 4% is an awesome opportunity for a sub 2. So very cool. So we can see the mortgage information here. Again, guys, when you're talking to real estate agents or you're talking to a homeowner, whatever it is that your lead generation method is, it's really good to know what kind of financing they're dealing with. Because if, for instance, the house doesn't have equity in it or doesn't have a positioning where you can force appreciation on it by flipping it, it's already well acquainted and it's a beautiful turnkey home so that you can't really flip it. But you see that it's got some very favorable financing associated with it, but it might be a little upside down, meaning if they tried to sell it on the open market right now, they wouldn't be able to cover the commissions based off of the price that they could probably get for it. Those circumstances are magical sub 2 opportunities. The reason being is because, well, that seller can get out of that property. They can actually give you the property subject to, and you could take care of paying the real estate agent. And now this homeowner can actually sell their property without having to come out of pocket to close the deal. So this is a good way for you to pitch creative financing to potential sellers if they're in a negative equity positioning by a little bit of money.
Exactly.
Cool.
Jamil, would you mind if I took over driving for a moment?
No, absolutely not at all. Here, I'll stop sharing my screen and you can take the wheel.
Amazing. Yeah, I had something here I wanted to show people that I think is very beneficial because, again, when you're doing your local market research and you don't really know what's going on there, with just a few clicks, you can basically see what's happening there. And there we go. Right, you should be able
It looks like it's a different window. It looks like you're sharing Instagram right now.
Oh, it does. Okay.
Let's see who's in Benson's DMs.
Also, while we're here, John's backstage. Hi, John.
Wait, I'm on stage.
I'm just saying hi.
What's up?
Hey, Johnny, we'll be right with you.
Sounds good. I'll be patient.
Oops.
Chopped them off. All right, there we go. Cool. So I drilled down here into this Tampa market, and I wanted to show you guys a really simple way to figure out, what percentage of ARV you should be thinking about getting properties below to make sure it's a deal. Now, every market's different. In the high-priced markets like Los Angeles, Denver, Seattle, you can get up to 75. 6 months ago, a year ago, I mean, you could get close to 80% of the ARV, and people would still get wholesale deals at that percentage. In the Midwest, you're gonna have to get them a much lower because the price points are lower. Tampa is one of those markets that's kind of middle of the road, but I'm going to click this property here that was just flipped, and I'm going to scroll down to the before and after section here, and we can see there that they bought this thing actually direct from seller. Right here, when it says, no, this is actually an MLS deal. Never mind. They pulled a photo from it, but there's an MLS ID here. And then right here, we can see they bought it for $315, sold it for $470,000. They got it at 67% of the after repair value. So no one property is going to give you the full picture or their full data set to understand what's happening in a market. But at least in this particular case, this fix and flipper bought it at 67%. Now, before we get into building a buyer's list, real quickly, you can come down here into the assessor's records and you can see who those flippers are. Now, at some point, I'm sure we're going to teach people how to build a buyer's list, but this is really quickly that this is a flipper who bought a property at 67%. Look at another one. Now, this is, again, where you would go in and look at the last 10 to 20 properties to start to get a sense of what's happening in that particular market. Scroll down again. There's another property. This one was purchased at 54%.
So this was probably in like pretty gnarly shape. And if you can see by the picture there, guys, it does look like it has a lot of deferred maintenance just off of the Google pic. So it probably needed a full gut remodel, but they did one bang of a job in there. Look at that house. It's beautiful.
I don't know about that orange though. Like maybe they're Bronco fans. I don't know, but
I like the vibrant colors. I think they're neat. My sister sold me on having, party colors in the kitchen. It's a nice draw to the eyes occasionally, but I like their style in here. I like they're using the countertop going right up the backsplash there. All of that looks, that's a nice one too. Let's see that.
Yeah, they built out this porch here, which you see that more and more on flips to really make the property look different and change the roof line. And this one here, an off-market deal. They got it direct from seller. They got it at 52%. So 3 data points, 52, 54, 67. Some place in there is where you're going to want to be in the Tampa market, depending upon the condition, right? We don't know what they spent. That's the only data set that we don't have, that nobody has, is how much they spent on a property.
Right. You can make some estimates, based off of, I flip properties across the country, and I've seen some pretty consistent numbers outside of New York and outside of Los Angeles. Right now on a cosmetic job, you're probably looking at about $60 a square foot. So if we just, ballpark that one, if we, let's take a look at that one, if you can go back to that one house.
The one that we were looking at earlier.
Yeah, I want to see if, what kind of profit margins might have been made on this one. So, all right. So they sold at 410. How many square feet is this thing? 1,000 square feet at $60 a foot. That's $60,000 in renovations. They probably spent a little bit more than that because of that porch. So let's just give them an extra 15 grand. So let's say $75,000 in renovations. If they sold at 410, say they had about 7% selling cost, so about 30 grand. So 410 minus 30 in selling cost gets them to 380, minus another 75 for construction gets them to 305. And what do they buy it at?
215.
So this deal is a smasher of a deal, right? So these are the kinds of numbers, and these are the profit margins that are available if you buy these things deep enough. So again, this is the kind of deal that John will be pitching to his buyers. These are the kinds of deals that John is trying to get under contract so that he can provide these opportunities to the many people he's doing business with. So this is a great one.
So we did look at that one that was at 67%. Remember earlier?
Yes.
I wonder if they made any money. Right?
Let's do the math on that. So they sold it for what? 470?
Yep.
Let's say they sold it for 470. They have 7% selling costs, about 33 grand. So and then how big is that thing? 1456,
1,500.
And let's see the inside real quick. If we have interior photos. They did a nice job on the exterior for sure. All new windows. Yeah, you're probably around a $60 square foot fee here as well. So that would have been about 90 grand. So they sold at 470 minus 33 in selling, minus 90 in construction. That gets them to 347. What did they pay for this thing?
315.
315. So these guys just squeezed out 30 grand, like just squeezed out 30. So you can see they overpaid for this deal, right? In my opinion, they still made some money, but this was a risky hit.
Yep.
But look, these guys might be so efficient, they might be so good that they're happy to make 30 grand on this and just keep it popping. Sometimes these fix and flippers, they just take a deal on so that they can keep their trades busy while they're waiting for their next home run.
Yeah.
Know this. Rehabbers will absolutely buy a project close to where they understand the numbers, and sometimes they won't make a ton of money on a deal just so they don't lose their trades. That is a strategy that I see happen all the time. It's just keeping your players warm before their next big game, right? That's the reason why these guys are because again, if you don't keep your trades employed, they got to find work. So they could go off to another job site, and then if you need them again here in a couple of weeks or in a month or so and they're not available, that's your fault. So that's why these guys buy some of these tighter deals. But so I would say 67% is, in my opinion, just too high for Tampa. I think we've seen evidence at 52, at 52 to 55. I think 52 to 55 on a cosmetic is where I'd be comfortable in Tampa. Let's bring John Galan up and find out if he's seeing something different from what his buyers are doing. And then John and I will start doing some acquisitions together, and we'll let you hang out and bring you back up before we close out, Benson. But John, how you doing today, brother? Thanks for being here.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. I'm doing great.
John, for the people who don't know you, can you give us the quick and dirty of what you've been doing in the wholesale game, what your business kind of looks like right now, and then we're going to dive.
Did I freeze or did Jamil freeze?
I don't know.
Yes, Jamil.
Something froze.
Something froze.
I'm here.
What seems to be okay. Benson just your screen went away from the backstage, but
We're all good. Okay, cool.
Okay.
So, where I've been up to right now for wholesaling for 2024, or just
Yes,
in
sir.
general?
In 2024, where you started and where you are now.
Yeah. So, I started off as an art major that then turned into a CPA, and then I started wholesaling. I got into Astro December of 2021. I made my first agent call January 23rd, 2022, and got my first deal done April 15th of 2022, and that's when Jamil brought me on stage to shave my beard, because I wasn't shaving my beard until I did my first deal. Then after that, basically, I was on and off until I quit my job into June of 2022, and started a company right towards the end of 22. And in 23, I don't remember how many deals. It was like close to 100 deals for 2023. And in 2024, we are at 80. I think we just assigned 2 today, so we're at 83 deals for 2024, all in Florida.
Go.
83 deals for 2024. Holy guacamole. What are we saying in terms of gross rev on those fees there, Johnny?
So our gross revenue is about, I think, 130,000 a month.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, around $130,000 a month. Last month we did 19 deals for like 200 and something thousand.
Guys, I just want you to see, right? Like 2 years ago, he was, fluffy beard, shaving face at the Clever Summit. He was an accountant, hating his life. I mean, I remember when he first came into the Astro community, he was like, dude, I'm an accountant. It's tax time right now. I'm just so overwhelmed. I can't stand this. I need to do something for myself. I need to do something that's going to allow me financial freedom. He's got a lovely lady that he wanted to, pursue, maybe marrying or something. And so he's setting up himself situation for his life.
Mm-hmm.
And he knew he wasn't gonna have a fulfilled life as a CPA. And so he takes the journey into wholesaling, and look at him now, right? The guy did over 200 grand last month, 19 deals assigned. And John, I'm just proud of you, dude. This is a real honor to have you with us today to go over this. Before we let Benson go, can you tell us how Privy has helped your business be able to get to the point where you're doing 200 grand a month in deals.
Yeah, I mean, so first off, appreciate you, Jamil. I couldn't have done this without obviously the training I received from you and Astro,
Love
and
you, brother.
obviously the community members, right? But so Privy helped because before, actually, I don't even know if before Privy, I was kind of all over the place. And then when I decided to go like straight to agent, like me and you talked, and I decided to just do straight agent acquisitions in Florida. I was kind of going back and forth to figure out how am I going to get my list? What is my process going to be for always finding the listings? And, you know, when you have Zillow, like you could get bombarded with emails, and Redfin bombarded. And it's not so easy to keep things organized, basically, except for doing like a saved search and stuff. So Privy helped me organize my agent outreach like method to figure out which deals I wanted to call on. And also I started using it and came up with like a soft vet process to like vet out which ones I didn't really want to call, so I could spend times on the ones I'm closer to getting under contract. So it really helped me dial in like my process for streamlining my acquisitions. And then also all of our buyers, like, and Helena is going to be on here later showing you how to get buyers. All of our buyers came from Privy. So it's just super easy to, as much as you can make a list for searching for MLS deals, you could also make like a list and a search for sold deals. So you could start finding the LLCs and figure out who sold the deal. Like when people say like, how do you find buyers? I'm like, do you have Privy? No. Okay. Well, then you got to use tax records. If you have Privy, then it's just super easy. It's just all right there.
Right. So it eliminates having to go to the tax record. It eliminates so much. And would you say that you would essentially use Privy on every deal you do? At some level, has Privy helped you in one aspect of all the deals that you're doing, or is there anything that you do that doesn't require using Privy?
No, I think every single deal has either been, touched by Privy or is getting touched by Privy. So Privy's touching all my deals.
Wow. Well, thank you for making the most incredible molester in the entire game here, Benson.
We love touching you, John.
Privy's touching John everywhere.
I'm always getting touched by Privy. Can't stop.
That was a great one. Benson, love you very much, dude. You're awesome. Hang out with us. John and I are gonna take over here, and John is gonna drive the car, and he's gonna show us his process on acquisitions. Benson, we'll see you in a little bit. I love you, brother.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Guys, give it up for
John.
Benson in the chat. Give him some love in the chat.
Appreciate you, Benson.
Thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah,
all right, Johnny boy, what's up?
What's
all
up,
right,
man?
You're driving the car, bro. You've got, you know how to share a screen. Show us your process and touch my Privy.
All right, let's do it. Share screen. Entire screen.
That's hilarious. That is so funny. Oh my god.
You all could see my map, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. So first thing I started to do, and this is what I would recommend when you first start, right, is you go to the filter section right over here, and you just type in where you want to find deals. So if I just want, let's just say Tampa, right? I could do Tampa. Or if I want to do the county, you could also search by county.
Okay.
Hillsborough County. I spelled Hillsborough wrong, but here we go. Hillsborough County, Florida, right? So whatever you want. Let's just do Tampa so it's smaller. Then you choose single family. Attached is like townhomes. So if you don't want townhomes, don't click attach. Condos, and then multifamilies and anything else. Status, active or pending or under contract. I like to do pending and under contract because it could be falling out of contract tomorrow. And I've gotten some deals that were pending that we wound up getting under contract because we followed up with the agent the day it was falling out. Then I click fix and flip. And now here, this is where you can play with it. You can do Privy preferred. I personally, if I know, like in Tampa right now, we're selling deals at around like 60, 63%. If I know I'm selling around there, like I don't want to go to 60 and limit my my pool. So like I'll probably just go up to like 70. I'll round it up to the nearest percent, like 10th of a percent. So I'll do 70%. And then purchase price. This is where you could filter it out if you want to. Let's just leave it alone for right now. Bed, bath, stories. Again, if you want to filter it out, let's just say I want to do a minimum of 2 because I don't really want one bedrooms. But again, you test it and you see what kind of results you get. Basement doesn't matter in Florida. Not really any basements. HOA. Let's just say I click no. Your build, I'm probably going to stop it at like 2010. I don't want anything too new because then it makes more sense for a retail buyer, right? You could also just do whatever year it is minus 10 years and have that. So I could do 2014 if I wanted.
Okay.
And then days on market. I suggest doing two. One is 1 to like 30. So I'll put 29. And
Okay.
then the other one I would say is 30 plus. So then you just put 30.
So let's unpack that. So why do you do the 1 to 30 and then why the 30 plus? Explain the difference between the two. I know what it is, but for those who are unaware, help us understand.
So the 1 to 30, you're going to get like some new listings, and those are the ones like if it's a hot listing right away, you want to jump on that fast because a lot of people are offering on it. And I want to distinguish it's a different conversation with the agent when it's a fresh listing versus when it's like a listing that's been there for 60 days or so.
Did you guys hear that? It's a different conversation when it's a fresh listing versus when it's one that's been an aged listing or has been sitting on the market for a long time. What are the differences in the conversation, John?
Well, I mean, in the beginning, they have a ton of options. So the grass is super green. The sky is so blue. It's always sunny, right? So everything looks good for them, and they don't need to take your offer because they're getting offers all over the place. And so they're very, very like optimistic about the listing and it selling close to list. Once it's sitting for a while and everybody stopped calling and the follow-ups had stopped, and the only offers they've had in the last like month has been 80K below list price. Now they're kind of coming to reality or getting defensive about their listing. So now you're just kind of trying to see how much you could get out of the listing. What's the bottom line? And you have a lot more power in those conversations because right now you're probably one of the only few calling. But now with Privy, if you're all making this list, all the wholesalers using Privy is going to be calling that agent, asking them about the property and just seeing, hey, how come it hasn't sold yet? What's been going on?
Right. Right.
So it's a different dynamic in the conversation.
Now you're talking about the fresh listings. Are we differentiating between fresh listings that are well priced, and in using these filters, is this only going to show us fresh listings that are well priced, or are we going to see overpriced new listings as well?
I mean, you'll see both, but you haven't. So there's two ways to vet, and this is kind of what I'm going to talk about because we changed it a little bit. You'll see overpriced ones. You'll also see ones that aren't overpriced. You might see ones that are priced perfectly. And if you get them soon enough on the listing, you could sell it over list price. Like we've sold the deal 25 or 30K over list price. And I had to offer 15K over list price to get it under contract.
Wow. How are you communicating that to your buyers that you were in a bidding war and you had to overbid in list price, and when they're going and seeing that you're 25K above list, how do you communicate that messaging to your buyers? Because of course a deal is a deal based on the numbers, not on the days on market, not based on this and that, and 25 over list is an arbitrary value based on where listing is. If the number still makes sense, it doesn't freaking matter. But how do you explain that to some of these tightwad buyers that are like, I don't like to overpay and I could have done that myself? And how do you, that's the mentality sometimes. So what are you saying to these people to, talk them off the ledge of that?
Yeah. Well,
excuse my Eric Cartman, by the way, that was just
first off, a lot of our buyers now have been like conditioned to know our deal. So they don't even say anything. They just basically, they're cool with it. But, if they're like, oh, I could have gotten it myself. Well, you didn't. And I did. And I beat out 16 other offers. So like, if you want the property, I suggest you put in the offer. Otherwise, we're probably going to sell it to somebody else. So let me know where you need to be, but it's going to have to be over list price.
Hey, all right, guys. So you guys heard that. You wrote it down, I hope. And for those of you that are wondering if this is going to be recorded, it's being recorded, but if I'm going to put it out or not, that's the question. I don't know if I'm going to actually put this on my YouTube for you guys to ever watch this again. So this might just happen and then disappear. So hang out. All right, John, we've got 1 to 30 days, 30 plus days. And are you making two separate lists? How are you doing that?
Yep. So what I'll do is before I'm not done yet because I'll do listing source and I'll click only MLS.
Okay.
I don't really want to see third party. And then sort is days on market, and timeline, I just click all.
Awesome.
So keywords, I don't really use. Zoning, I don't do anything. Date range, I don't do anything, right? And then what I'll do is you could click run search or you click save search. If I click save search, I'll choose a folder, right? You can make a new folder, whatever you want to do. Let's just say you call it soft vet list, right? You click the folder, and then the alerts, you could do every hour, every day, every week, or never. I usually do every day. But if you start noticing like you're getting late on the new ones, you could do every hour for the newer list, and you could do every day for the 30 plus list.
Damn, dude.
This way, you're always getting any new listing hits you every single hour. And then you could click save as quick search. I don't really do that as much. And then name the search. Let's just call it Tampa 30 plus day on market, right? So I save that. Boom, click save. Then I run it. And this, I only do this on the initial search. I don't do this after. And the reason why I do this on the initial search is because I want, again, you want to have a process. You don't want to have to be like, oh crap, which ones of these have I seen already? Which ones are new? You know what I mean? So you want to make sure that when you get the email from Privy, which I'll show you, you'll already know if you've seen it or if you've not seen it before. So what I suggest you do is you'll use this list function, but you click this over here, list, and then you just select all properties, and you see this little folder.
Mm-hmm.
You add it to a folder, and so we have a bunch of folders here now. But I would suggest you create list properties 1 to 49, or if you have it 1 to 30, whatever your first search is, properties, comma, parenthesis, 1 to, let's just say 30 days on market, properties, 30 plus days on market. So whatever bucket these fall into, I know these are my 30 plus, right? So I'm going to click this, and then I'm going to click save. Now, I'm not going to click it now because I don't want to ruin the, what my VA has done, but then I'll click save, and then it'll be in here. Once I click save, now I go to my lists, and right over here, this little icon, you see that little thing?
Yes, sir.
I click that, and I go back to map, and it shows me all the properties that are in that specific.
Bro, this is so good.
So now what I'm going to do is once they're in that list, right, you have a couple of things you could do. So once they're in the list, I go one by one, but I just want to show you guys quick lists really quick. So list, you just click this pop over here, and you can name it. All right. And then you add a description if you want. Like I have descriptions for my VAs listed 50 or more days, needs to be cleared out to 0 each day. So this is like your filtration for all those lists. I added needs longer days on market, added to CRM/looked at, did not pass off vet, hedge fund list. And I even put like the name in here. And then this is for like our buyers, which Helena will go over, but these are all, so for that flat fee open door listing, this is just, again, if the agent's gonna be a flat fee or open door. So we have all of that here, right? So now anytime I want, I come out and clear this. So I will click this, open up my properties. And then over here, you see these 3 dots over here, right? When you click here, you could have manage lists. You see how right now the blue check mark is properties 30 plus. So once I'm looking at a property, I'll just quickly like skim through the condition first. I'm just looking at the condition. This one, I don't know. Would you guys say this is a wholesale deal or is this too clean?
I would say that it's a great cosmetic remodel.
Yes, it is.
The flooring in there is, it's super old. I'd say probably like early 1990s. The cabinetry in there needs to get all ripped out and refreshed. You need, new countertops. You need new appliances. Look at that. Look at that fridge. It looks like a big sore thumb in there.
Yep.
It hasn't been properly configured so that kitchen looks functional and usable. So yeah, I think this is a phenomenal cosmetic. Look at that bathroom, right?
Yeah,
Like look at that flooring in there. That's just disco green. So yeah, this is a phenomenal potential opportunity. Now, John, I know you're a master on the phone, but we have a special guest coming after you to talk to some of these agents. So are you able to create a list of deals that you and I today believe are potential opportunities? And can we export that for our friend to be able to call on later?
Yeah. So when you come to your list, I just come to here. Oh, there's nothing in there. Let's just say I go to this. All I got to do is click download button.
Amazing. So
And
let's make a
downloads
new
Excel
folder for Corianne of the ones that we go through today. So I think that one today that one that you just saw, I think that's a potential opportunity. Let's soft vet it. Let's see if that one passes the sniff test.
Yep. So let me just save this. Privy masterclass listings, right? Boom. Let me just click all of these. You know what? Let's just do it. I'll do a new list. I'll add this one, Pine Hills. And so like when I add it, actually, I'll show you how to get them out, right?
Okay.
So once I have it selected, this one, right, real quickly, let's just say I already did the soft vet thing and I'm like, yeah, this one passes. I'll unclick this and I'll click it into if it passed or if it did not. And now it's changed folders, right?
Oh, cool.
So now once it changes folders, this will go from 6 to 5 and this will go up to 1. So now I want to get this to 0. So that's how I get it to 0. I just change it out of the folder. Let's say it didn't pass. I'll click did not pass soft vet. Let's say if it did, and I'm going to add it
And
to
explain
call.
to the people who don't understand what you mean when you say a soft vet.
So soft vet just means like, so there's 2 ways to soft vet. Before I was doing it based on like numerically, like, hey, how far off will my offer potentially be? And then the way I do it now is more so just condition. I don't care because I need a lot of listings for my team to call on. So I don't care if it's overpriced or not. I don't even calculate that anymore. I just go like, hey, does this thing need work? For 2 reasons. One, I just want to call on it. Again, they might be overpriced or not. I mean, this thing's 80 days on market, so I don't know how much I can get off. And 2, I know that this agent gets deals that look like this.
Absolutely.
So I'm more so going not for how close to list will I be, but more so like, hey, I know this agent gets these types of properties. So even if this one doesn't work out, if I can just stay on top of them, I might get another one.
And the key here is the relationship, right? What John's talking about is he wants to form a relationship with a real estate agent who's known to get houses that need work, right? That's what he's looking for. He likes it. He doesn't want to. I mean, of course, he's going to work with all agents, but he really wants to form solid relationships with agents who are working in areas or in with properties that need work. So great thinking, great reasoning. And so again, he's not filtering based off of price because he's pretty aware that this thing is overpriced based on the number of days on market. He's looking at the photos. He's saying, is there an opportunity to force appreciation on this house? Look at the pictures. It needs work. Absolutely. So it makes the cut. All right, let's keep it going. And for those asking, how current is this data? Guys, it's direct to the MLS, meaning it's being updated all the time. Like it just updated right now. And it just updated right now. And it just updated right now. See, that's real time. That's what we mean. When we say real-time MLS data, that's what we're talking about. Immediately updated. So as soon as something gets listed on the MLS, Privy has, and let me just make sure that that's true, and I'm not just talking out my butthole here. Benson, how often are we updated? Here, we'll let you put your pants back on. Yep.
He's muted.
Oh,
muted.
right, there he is.
It's basically real time. We have an open system, so as often as the MLS will push it out, we'll accept it. But it's certainly multiple times per hour.
Multiple times per hour. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Back to whatever you were doing. All right. So multiple times per hour. So we got like real time updates here, which is awesome because in our business, especially those deals that are just listed that are really well priced, you got to be Johnny on the spot. You got to get those things immediately. And so that's why those alerts are really important. And John is, I don't know how often you're having those refreshed or sending you alerts, John. How about for fresh, well-priced listings? How often are you getting those alerts?
Every day. But fresh, well-priced listings, I'd get every hour.
Awesome.
So, and the other thing I want to show, because we'll go in depth on finding a property, but the overall process, just so everybody understands, right? I make a search, okay? I save the search. I label it exactly how. This one I didn't filter out days on market, right? But let's just do, Jamil, do you want to do 30 plus or 1 to 29?
30 plus.
Okay. Right, so then I'll save the search as Volusia County, 30 plus days on market, run search. And this, again, initially, anytime I make a new search, this is what I do. I do this whole list thing the first time I make a search, and I add it to whichever filter. I'm not going to add it to Privy Masterclass because I don't want to overload it, but like I would add this to the 30 plus days on market, okay? Now, let's just say I added all of that, okay? Now, let's say I don't add a new search, but I get the emails. What do I do with the emails? So this is what I do with the emails. So you'll get an email. It'll look like this from Privy, right? You guys all see the emails.
Mm-hmm.
So for the it'll tell you how many deals we found. So these are just anything usually new or that hits the filter that is now in your search criteria. So these are my search criteria, right? Let's just say I click, you could click all of them, but now they make it simple. You just click this, this, this. So I'll just click every single one up. And what I'll do is I'll literally click every single one of these buttons at the same time. So I have different Privy tabs open. All right. And the first thing I'm doing, because again, I'm not looking at them. I want to be quick. First thing I'm doing is I'm just going back to, if it's 4 or less, like I go one by one, right? So I'll just click each of them and just quickly see, like, is this already in a list? It's already in a list. So I don't have to look at this one again. All right. Next one. Is this in a list? Manage list. It's already in a list. So I don't have to see this one again.
Wow.
So that's why I add them to the lists. And if it's in a list, like this one is not in a list. You see that? It's not on a list. I didn't see this yet. This is 61 days. So it's going in properties, 50 plus, save. So now all I got to do is that instead of doing the whole list. So now my lists over here go from like 200 and something properties after I go through it the first time, only gets updated for anything that's new in the email, right? And then if I need new listings, I just get a new place to search, put that all in, solve that out, all of them, and then I just get up to date with my emails from then on. And that's what I do, right? So now I know like everything here should be in a list. If it's not in a list, then I'll check, right? This one's not in a list yet. I'll double check. You know, you can either look at pictures now or you look at pictures after you just hurry up and put it in here. So this one's 34, 30 plus, save, next.
So recap, guys, what John just did is he showed us how he's populating each of the types of lists that he's filling up, right? And he has a number of different lists that he's calling on. He's got lists that are 1 to 49 days on market. He's got lists that are 50 plus days on market. He's got lists that are 30 plus days on market. He's got lists that are that need a little bit more time to season. So maybe they're overpriced, but they need work. And he knows that the agent's not ready yet to have a conversation about an offer lower than list price or substantially lower than list price.
Jamil
In those properties. And then am I frozen or are you frozen?
No, you're back. You're back.
Okay. So what John's doing is he's making that list where he's seasoning those properties, right? Because they're not quite ready to talk about a lower price right now because it's too fresh of a listing. But John knows it's overpriced. It's not going anywhere. He just needs to wait a month, maybe 2 months. And then the agent's going to be more motivated to have a conversation about price. So what other strategies or what other acquisition techniques are you leveraging Privy to help you do more business?
Yeah. So on the acquisition side, so now this is how basically, so like I said, there's 2 ways to solve it. You could either just go off condition or you could go off of numbers, right? So if I'm going to go off of condition, then this would pass automatically just because there's no photos and it looks like it's going to need work.
Yep.
So I would click this. I would get the address, put this on an Excel sheet, right? Because you're going to have to manually get the agent's numbers if you don't have agency for Privy, which you need to be an agent on. So I'd update an Excel sheet, kind of just get my address ready and the agent's name. Usually it shows you the agent's name. If not, if it doesn't show you the agent's name, you could just go on Zillow really quick just to see the listing agent. And then I'll just add it to CRM/looked at before, right? But this one matches. So we'll get that as Privy Masterclass.
Amazing.
And now it'll be out of the search when I go refresh the search, right?
Cool.
So
let's try to get 10 properties in there for our friend before she jumps on.
Okay, cool. This one, let's see.
That looks too new. Or that
But,
way.
No, this is beautiful.
Yeah.
All right, so let's do the other way now.
Yep.
So I showed you how to do it condition. Condition, automatically, this gets added to Privy Masterclass. I'm going to add it anyway, just because of this little thing.
Its condition is pretty gnarly.
Yeah. So, but how I would view it the other way. So this is in D-Land, Florida. Let's just say it's not just for the sake of the soft ed guide. So what I'll do right now, and again, guys, this number is going to be arbitrary, so don't get hung up. Because I know last time we made this YouTube, a lot of people got hung up on like where I got the difference from list. So this thing's been listed for 31 days on market. I know typically that anything that's over 30, I have a good shot. If I'm like 60, 65K off list price, I could probably get this thing locked up. Now, it depends on obviously the range and everything where it is, but let's just use 60,000, right? So if I know this thing's listed at 189,900, if I know for 31 days on market, I have a good shot at getting this under contract if I'm 60K below that number, minus 60,000. That means my offer would have to be around 129, 130, right? We all
Sure.
we all understand that, right?
Yep.
Okay, if I know, let's just say D-Land's a little bit more rural. So let's just say if I know I could at max, regardless of condition, again, we're soft betting, we're not comping. I'm not getting too crazy because it's supposed to be quick. If I know based on this condition, again, I'd probably have to be lower, but let's just say the max I know I could lock up a property in D-Land is, let's call it 52%, right? I divide by 0.52. So I need to see an ARV of around 250. Okay, so if I see an ARV in the area around 250, I have a good shot at getting this under contract. That makes sense?
Makes total sense.
Okay, cool. So 250 is my number. What I'll do now.
And 130 is his offer. 250 is the ARV. Now John is going to try to quickly see if he can find any evidence of a 250 sale.
Exactly. So I'll just click all, and I like to, because Privy gives you these preset boxes, but I like to just make a little circle somewhere I can't see, so I clear all the noise away from me. And I'll draw my box. Like I don't want to cross this, right? So I'll probably just stay in this box.
Makes
all right,
sense.
I'll draw my own box. And now it pops up. If all isn't selected, I click all, but it is. So I'll go to sold, right? Save. And then I'll just go to sold. And I will quickly just go filter out by price, right? So I'm my highest price now. Now I look at all of this. So I'm a 5-1. The one kind of hurts, a little weird. 5-1 is actually really weird. But 13-17. I don't want anything too big. Really not more than 15-50 maybe.
Yep.
So
Hill looks like a potential one. Oh wait, is that for sale or is that sold?
These are all sold.
Okay.
So now I don't even look at the map because I drew my own thing and I soft bet. So I'm looking. Okay, too big. Here's one. 335.
Boom.
2. Oh my God, lot 217,000 square feet.
Oh, that's too big. So you disqualify that one.
Yep. Keep going down. 1678, too big. This one looks good. Okay, lot size looks good. Sold in January, right? So this one sold at 290. And
only thing here is the build year is too high.
Oh,
what's the
97.
difference
I didn't
between
see
the
that.
blue and the red buttons on the type?
Blue is investments. So I think that's like sold by two investors or something with Privy, and then red is just a normal sale.
Thanks. Carry on. Sorry.
Yeah. All right. Here's one. 71, two new. 1250, 07, 2 new. 1361, 77, 23, 2017. Okay. Here's a 1938. Good
Beautiful.
lot size. Went from a 4-1 to a 2-2. 1232.
Hey, that's our guy.
And it's only 0.12 miles away. So I'll save this one. So I see a 255. I would really like to see at least one more. That's an 08. Okay, here's a 61. That one's good, 250. So I have two properties right here that show me that, hey, there's a shot I could be at 250 ARV.
Yep.
So this would pass soft bet.
Got it. So now Sharon asked, what's the next steps? Sharon, we will get to that. Right now, we're building a list of potential acquisitions. So we're going to create a list of 10 properties. And then John is going to leave us. Corianne is going to join us. And she's actually going to call the agents for these properties. So we're going to take you through the process of what these conversations sound like. Anyhow, Carry on.
So just for the sake of this for here, and just because now I don't soft vet based on that mathematical approach, and I'll just give you guys a stat. So when I started vetting out properties using that list price minus the price differential I know I could get it accepted at, divided by my ARV percentage, my average different from list price went from like 170,000 to 80,000. So that means most of my offers were less than 100K off list price every time I offered on a property.
Makes sense.
Okay. So again, if you want to do that, you could do that. I taught a VA how to do that. That was my first hire, honestly, because it is time consuming. I'm not going to lie. It is time consuming. Because then after this, you do got to make it on Excel to get the list of the property name, the property address, the agent's name, the agent's cell phone, so you could import it into your CRM or just start calling down the list. But so now I would look at the properties. This one, to be honest with you,
too nice.
Exactly like you guys want to look. It doesn't look like the nicest property in the world, right? But if you look at like the conditions, But the kitchen, they looks like they probably did the kitchen over. Those
Yeah, they
counters
got
look
shaker
newer.
cabinets in there. They got steel appliances.
Yep, granite
They've got-
countertops.
Yep, a backsplash-ish kind of thing. So, and when I see a house like this has a lot of pride of ownership in it.
Yeah.
This has somebody who lives in that home and they think it's the nicest house they've ever seen. So these people aren't going to be highly motivated to take an investor offer. So for me, I probably wouldn't call on that one. What about you?
I wouldn't. But this also was where your, like, if you did the soft vet analysis, like I just did before, would also come into play. Because you'd see, like, let's just say you had an ARV of 200. By doing what I did, I'd pass on this.
Right.
Right. Now let's just say I did it and there's an ARV of like 270.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I'd probably call on this because it's not that much of a rehab.
Yeah.
But for the sake of this, let's keep going. Because the curb appeal is not super nice, but it's also, I don't think it's in the nicest area of Daytona Beach.
Got it.
All right, here we go. Oh.
So only 2 comps to soft vet. Yeah, guys, he's making decisions quickly. Right now, this isn't a full comp. He didn't fully comp the property. He's just seeing, is this one worth me calling on? So yeah, we don't want to spend a bunch of time comping every house before we call it. We want to just very quickly know, is this a potential call for us? Great. Add it to the folder. Keep it going.
I can already tell this one is going to be. Yep.
So, beautiful.
Again, I'm just going to go just so it's quick, right? Just get my property list. Privy masterclass save.
We're hovering around 200 people in here, guys, and there is not 200 likes on this video. So please know that nobody's gotten paid for this. We're just doing this out of the kindness of our hearts. We're wanting for people to understand what this is, how you use these tools. So like this video and make sure that we send some love to John in the chat because he's taking time out of his day to help us out here. All right, keep it pushing, bro.
So this one, yep.
Oh, look at that. That's a juicy one.
Yeah, this is nice. 102 days on market. Gotta love that.
Market rejected that price.
Big time. Oh, it's in Daytona Gardens. That's why. Daytona Gardens is one of the worst parts of Daytona Beach.
Oh, okay. So that's when knowing your market is important.
All right, but I'm still going to add it because people still buy.
Yes, sir.
All right, so like I said, I'm doing a little differently just to try to get you. I want to get in a hotter area. Then D-Land's good, but it's a little. I don't want too many HOA properties or anything. So when Corianne does call it,
that's actually one of Bobby's favorite parts of the world, D-Land, because he likes the D.
No, I don't.
I knew Bobby was going to pop in real quick.
Yeah, I keep wanting to say things to get him to come in and like just rebut me, but it's great. He's so good.
So this one, no, I don't. This one again, it's not the ugliest I mean, I personally think it's ugly, but again, it's not the most outdated. And if you did this search, like I'd probably see most properties selling around like we're one of the highest sales. And it's been listed for 69 days. You could give it a shot if you want. But you have over here, looks like it's a tired landlord type of deal.
Yep.
But I want to get the juicy ones for Corianne. This one looks like
juicy,
this one looks like a remodel.
It does.
Yep. Remodel.
Yep.
Let's get a pending one up too, just to show why we call pendings. This is a duplex, I think.
And guys, yes, I'm gonna have before we let John go, I'm going to have him share all of his information with you guys because I want every single one of you, the 200 that are live and the 2,000 that'll watch after the fact, each of you need to do business with John. He is a Dispo king out there in Florida. He's got all kinds of, his buyers are paying premiums and he really, really knows what'll move. So before we let John go, I will absolutely make sure that he shares all of his information with you guys so that you guys can connect with him and do business with him. So don't worry about that.
And 2 of my biggest deals have been off the MLS.
Isn't that? Tell us about the what do you mean when you say biggest deals? How much?
One was 100,000 and the other one was 95,000, but we had to pay $7,000 closing costs, so we netted like 87,000.
I mean, off of this, like off the MLS, using Privy, you've got over almost $200,000 in profits just like that. That's just off of 2 deals, dude.
Yep.
What do you think your ROI on Privy's been over the life of your membership with them?
I don't even think I could calculate that, but it is definitely going to be a lot of nines.
That's great.
This
That
one,
one looks like that's a good
yep,
possible. Yep.
yep. I would do that for sure. I mean, it's a funky looking house, so I'm sure this might be an illegal addition. I don't know what this is, but it looks weird. Add to lists, Privy masterclass. That's 8. And I'm just going around here. Like I said, I usually use a side, right? Because the side's super easy. Like, oh, I mean, I don't know what this thing is, but that's a house.
Yep. That's a
Well,
little box.
That's a house that we are going to be calling on.
Heck yeah.
And it literally is just simple. Like, and as you look at more properties, like I could tell too clean just by looking at the outside.
Right. Like this one on Sand Trap, I wouldn't call on that, right?
No.
Why, guys? It's a 2023 build. This is one of the funniest things that happens on like Straight Outta Compton. Someone will put this address in the chat, right? And be like, what's the ARV? I'm going to say exactly what it's listed at.
Yeah.
This is a full retail properry, right?
It's not moving. I mean, 92, big lot. I mean, even this one, I bet you it's going to be,
Yeah.
not happening.
I'm not going to call on that one. That one's been remodeled. Yep.
This one looks like it is going to be dated. Let's see. Yeah, I would say. I mean, the kitchen's pretty ugly, but I don't know.
This kind of one makes me nervous because if you go back to those pictures, right, this is one of those owners that thinks that this house is fully remodeled because they went to the discount section of Floor and Decor and they got the cheapest laminate flooring that they had available and they bought it. They also bought all the discount tile. Yep. And they've upgraded this house. Now, again, according to this seller, this house is fully remodeled. According to me, not so much. But I wouldn't call on this one because I don't think these guys are going to be open to negotiating, and they're not going to take kindly to my criticism of the job they did. Yeah, no, I would pass on this one. Unless, like, and if an agent sends you their listing, you just be like, hey, listen, like, I think this is going to make more sense for a conventional buyer. Like, if you don't have any conventional buyers and you want an investor offer, let me know. But I just not going to make sense for the seller for my offer. Right. Here's another one. Makes sense. Condition. And again, see, this is the soffit condition. You see how quick the soffit with condition is. But if you want to get a little bit more dialed in, so let's just say you only want to make like 15 offers for the day and you want all 15 to be relatively close, do it the other way that I showed. I think I know this house. For that one, absolutely. Yeah, this one could absolutely use a remodel. A lot of pride of ownership in this house. I mean, like, guys, the people who own that house, they were clean. That's one tidy grandma. 60 days on market though. So 60 days on market, they're ready. Oh crap. So, John, help us understand your thinking process behind days on market, how you're approaching these agents based off of days on market, and what are these conversations looking like? Do you ever get anxiety calling an agent knowing you're going to be $100,000 below their list price? And how do you overcome that anxiety in having that conversation? Before I even offer, I'll usually try to align on ARV with them. Because if we come from the same starting point, then it's going to be a lot easier to see how I'm ending at a number. You know what I mean? So you get them to see. So you're basically walking them through the entire equation with you. So if you start at the answer, guys, did you hear what he just said? Like, that is gold. He starts at the answer. He's like, okay, if we both agree that 2 + 2 is 4. Yep. Right. So we're starting at 4. And I know that, my costs are going to be 2. What do I need to buy this at in order to get to 4? Yeah. So you're walking them through that reasoning. Yeah. I'll be like, all right, so, usually, so there's usually 2 different calls, right? The first call is like the discovery call. You're calling the agent to find out more information on the house and the story and all that stuff. And then the second call is going to be the offer call, right? So on the first call, like when we're talking, like one of the last questions I'll ask, or if we get to the subject, like, hey, so just curious, if I was, to make this thing like all like sexy and everything, like, where do you think I could sell this at? And they'd be like, oh, you could probably sell it for, 400,000, or let's use 450. 450. Okay, beautiful. So 450. I mean, what? We're 1530 square feet. It's going to be a full cosmetic. I'd probably wind up putting in about
about maybe 70, 80K in there. Let's just call it 75, right?
Mhm.
So 450 ARV, I got to take off 10% for my closing,
Selling.
my carrying costs, all that
Yep.
stuff, right?
Yeah, it's 40
Plus,
grand.
it's going to be, let's say $75,000 in repairs. Plus on something like this, you know, I probably want to make closer to like 10, 15, but let's just call it a 50K profit. You know, on that, I can't, 345 doesn't make sense. Like I can't even picture myself if ARV is 450. There's no way I could offer above 280. So like, is your seller even open to something like that, or are they just married to that 345?
Boom.
280, you know, and so like if they're like, yeah, they might be. Oh, okay, cool. That's not my offer. Again, I got to run my own ARV, but I just got the seller down from 345 to 280 without even offering.
Guys, that was masterful, right? So he just walked the agent through the reasoning, right? So look, my ARV on this thing is here. This is what it's going to cost me to sell it. This is what it's going to cost me to remodel it. He's got the agent in agreement. He's in alignment with the agent through that entire thing. And then he shows them the folly of the 345 price. He says, how could I justify paying 345 for this? I would not even, I wouldn't make a single penny.
Mm-hmm.
And then now the agent's like, yeah, you're right. You wouldn't.
Right. And then let's just say I run it and my offer is actually, they said 450. Let's say it's 430. So that's 20K off the top right there. Right. So now my offer is actually 260. You know, now I'm like, hey, listen, so I don't see the 450. I see the 420, yada, yada. That's why I'm at 260 right now. And if they're like, yeah, 75K, I got a contractor that could do it for 40K. Do you really? Like, can you give me their number actually? Because if they could do it for 40K, and I'm thinking 75, like I'll come up 30K all day, every day right now. Can you send me their number, please? Like I would love to do business with that guy.
How often do you find that that's actually the real case, that they actually, because I would never use a contractor from an agent referral.
No.
And normally when they're giving you those numbers, they're BS.
Right, exactly. And I want to, a lot of the times when they say that, they're bluffing. And so like when you call them out and be like, hey, send me that person's number, please. Like they're not really expecting that. And so they're like, no, it's just like, it's a friend. Like he told me like, that's what he thinks. Okay, got it. So, but yeah, I can't go off that. Like based on, you know, my experience, like I'm not gonna be able to do this house, a 1,500 square foot house, fully remodeling that for less than 70K. I mean, that's crazy. If you do know anybody, send them my way. And like, plus I'll get the number and we'll actually call them. I mean, there's no reason not to. Now we have referrals. If that guy's a good contractor and a buyer comes in and their contractor falls out, okay, hey, I actually got somebody that might be able to help you out. He was referred to me by an agent. Here's his number.
Amazing. So you're collecting referral opportunities and all of that is brilliant, dude.
Yeah.
All of that is great.
So that's basically, and now the other thing is, let's just say they said ARV is 500 or something. And let's just say I get to an offer, like after I'd run those calculations, like I get to an offer of like 340 and I'm just like, oh shit. Like, then I'd just be like, okay, so basically if ARV really is 500, 340, the listing price makes sense. So I'm curious, how come it's still on market for 40 days? Like, is there something that I'm missing? Is ARV might be too high, or is it a bad area? Like what kind of feedback have you gotten?
Or is there something I'm missing here in the remodel that I'm not accounting for? And that's typically what it is, guys. When you see a house has been sitting on the market for, extended amount of time and it's priced right, that means that investors have gone and looked and passed because it's still overpriced in its current condition. So there's something going on. There's a boogeyman living under the stairs. There's a Pennywise in the basement. There's a Bobby Canode in the backyard. There's something going on in that house with that house, right? So you gotta offer less.
Exactly. So again, it's not your offer. It's just an initial conversation. And then you can make the offer. And if they get upset, what are they going to do? You know how many times an agent's told us, like, you're way too low. And we're like, not really. I mean, you're kind of high. And then they call us back 5 months later. Like that deal we got in Miami, that was the $87,000 deal that we offered on it 7 times before we got it accepted.
Walk us through that, right? So, because here's another thing that I get from people. They're like, hey, every time I talk to an agent and I tell them my offer number, they say I'm lowballing and they say my offer is too low. And they use that every time thing. So you're talking about 7 offers on one house. Walk us through it and unpack that for us if you could.
Yeah. So let me, because when I share my screen, I don't even know what I'm looking at. So let me, there we go. All right. So basically what we do is like whenever we offer, like we honestly so this is what I would recommend, right? After you make the offer on the person, you have the best time right then and there to decide, is this going to be a call offer follow-up or a text message offer follow-up, right? And I would recommend differentiating the two, because at one time you're going to have a lot of follow-ups. So after you make the call, you'll know based on how you offered, like, do I have a high likelihood of getting this accepted the next time I follow up? If so, I call that person. If it's not, and it's like we're kind of not really seeing eye to eye, we're too far off, I'll text that follow-up. So, but I make that decision right after I offer, because that is the best time. The worst thing you could do, put it into a generic follow-up, and then you get to the follow-up date and you're like, wait, what? How did our last conversation go? Let me go look through our conversations again. And I spend 5 minutes trying to figure out, am I going to call or text them, when I could have just done it in 30 seconds 2 weeks ago, right? So I'll make that decision then. And then in 2 weeks, every 2 weeks, until it either sells or they block us, or we get on the contract and sell it, we're following up with them all the time. But after we hit about, now in today's market, we're doing, I think, around 45 days or 60 days, we'll recomp the property before we offer on it, because our new offer might not make sense, right? So before it was like 90 days. Now we're doing like 30 to 60 days. We'll just have my underwriting team recomp the property to tell us, is that a good offer, or do we have to come down a little bit? And then we'll follow up with them right after that fact. So that's what we do. And
do you have an issue with like your second offer being lower than your first? Do you explain to the agent? How do you explain to the agent why that is? And do you make them feel like, hey, you should have taken my offer last month? It was higher then, or like, how do you play that conversation off?
I mean, you just basically, depending what's going on in like the market, like right now is the election coming up, right? So you just play doom and gloom. Like, hey, like a lot of the listings, like as you see, inventory's been going up, property's been sitting, the average day on market's increasing, and you got the election coming up. It's a weird year right now. So, basically, I've been looking at the market. You have these things sitting right now, and I'm going to have to calculate for that, and it might be sitting even longer. So my offer is going to have to be now at 120 instead of 140 as a fact. My ARV went down because look at this one. It's been sitting for 85 days on market. It's literally the same as us, and it's not selling. So, just as a result, it's 120. I wish you would have taken my offer like 2 weeks ago. We probably could have gotten this done at 140, but here we are now. So let me know if the 120 works.
Amazing. All right. So anything else we want to add to this folder before we hand it off to Corianne? Any other acquisition techniques, tips, things in Privy that you want to highlight? And then I'll bring Benson on so that you guys can chop it up before we carry on to the calls.
No, the only thing we do is before we offer on it, we fully comp it, right? And then we use you could put it in like a card, like we use like something like Trello, or what you could also do is let me share my screen again. And again, this is like if it's smaller, like when you have like a bigger operation, it might be a little bit difficult. But in the beginning, can you see my Privy?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, so let's
see your Privy parts.
Oh, you see my Privy parts?
Yep.
Flaunt it if you got it right. All right, so here we go. So these are the 12 properties that Corianne's gonna call. Let's just say I comp this one. And I'm like, okay, I comped it. I'll just go to notes, and you could just put ARV, XXX, repairs, offer, whatever comps. And then you just like put the addresses and the stuff over here. And so now I save this. So now like once Corianne comes up, she'll be like, okay, let me pull this one up. All right, let's see. What are my notes on this? Okay, got it. All right. So
you're saving notes on there is this how you communicate with your team members as well, so that they kind of know your mind going into a specific opportunity? Yeah,
in the like when my team was smaller, that's exactly how I was communicating with them based on that. And then we would convert it into our CRM, and now a lot of stuff is in the CRM. So a lot of the conversation happens there. But like in the beginning, especially when you're by yourself, if you don't want to look in too many places, like the note section is great, and if you have notes in one spot, you could copy and paste it into that note section.
This is incredible. Lika over here says, John is on beast mode. I've learned so much in this short period of time. I absolutely agree, dude. You are beast mode. You gave us a ton of gems. We literally had you on here for an hour, and John rocked us 10 leads. We've got 10 solid leads for Corianne to call on. John, how do we export this list so that she can have it?
Yep. Let me present. I might as well have just kept my screen sharing. Also, I gave you 2 extra just in case one of them don't answer.
Amazing.
But so you go to your list, you click this, or you just click the list.
Okay.
And once it loads, right now it's getting a little shy. Stage fright. All right. Well, there we go. And I just clicked the download button. You're about to download 12 property records. Continue. Download complete. And I have a Mac right now, so I went to CSV. So I would just either convert that to Excel, because I personally like. But if you're uploading it to a CRM, you're going to want CSV anyway. But you could see the download, right?
Yep.
So this is it. These are the addresses. This is everything. And then you could import this. I think, and I haven't done this, but Benson, correct me if I'm wrong. I could start a list and then just upload the CSV file into this list, correct?
Oh, we need to unmute him.
You know what? I'll just find out right now, live. Let's do it.
Here, Benson, hold on. Let's unmute Benson.
There you go.
There we go.
So, so John, I will tell you as well that you can download it and then email that separately, but you can actually send it directly from here. That same list.
You can she can open it up in her Privy.
Yep.
So their privies can touch each other.
Select all on that one, and then there's a sharing feature there, and it will allow you to share and email it.
Damn,
maybe
dog.
let me see. It's not working right now. Let me see. Well, if it's not working, I know you could do individual properties, but for some reason this list isn't letting me share. But I just found this out too. If I send the CSV, she could come in here, click upload.
Yeah, click that share
file,
button.
double click the CSV, upload, choose a list. Where is to call?
Privy masterclass.
There we go. I'm going to do to call because the Privy ones I'm downloading. So I click save. Once your live CMA is ready to view, we will email you. Okay, close. And then it'll upload. So I'm going to send this to her anyway, just so she has it. Let's just try to refresh. Oh, beautiful. It's here. And they're all here. I don't know why these. Let's reload that. But I'll try to send them anyway and just match them with Corianne before.
Any notes, Benson, from watching how this master of wholesaling has used this? I mean, when you watch this, and I'm not giving you any ideas, Benson, so don't think I'm trying to, but when you see how much value John's extracting from this tool, don't you want to raise the price?
And then any price that gets raised goes to me.
For real.
Yeah. We'll do a rev share on that. Absolutely. I mean, the tool is an amazing tool for a lot of the things that people look for in a quote unquote, software program. Efficiency, saving time, organization, all that stuff's great. But he's literally plucking deals, that needle in the haystack where you could spend all day talking on the phone, calling people, doing direct to seller. You could do all that stuff and never find a deal, but he's able to actually pluck these deals just right off the tree. And it's amazing to watch you do it, because the thing that I find most impressive about your process, John, is the organization and the way that you use the folders to make sure that all of your deals are being touched. Nothing slipping through the cracks. And that's what a lot of people who start in this business do, is they get so distracted by all the noise that they just look at a property once and then they forget about it. They're on to the next one. But if you're going to have any sustained success in this business, you really need to organize all your deal flow and make sure that you're going back to the ones that maybe you looked at that didn't make sense 30 days ago, or the ones where the agent said no, check back with me. That's where the real money is. It's in the follow-up.
Absolutely. John, thank you so much again. John, I want everybody, we got over 200 live. We're going to have thousands watching over, the course of the next month. If I decide to share this on YouTube, which I'm not sure I will, guys, I'm just saying, don't know yet. Bobby and I will determine that later. But how do people get a hold of you? Because I want everybody and guys, look, if you're going to reach out to John, right, do business with John, right? He's absolutely one of the best in the business, one of the best of the Astro community. But he's literally here to serve. He's here to help you, and he wants to make money with you guys, right? So, John, how do people get a hold of you? How do people do business with you? What's that look like?
Yeah. So for deals, just send it to our deals portal, which is going to be deals DEALS dot EasyRes EZYRES.com. And it'll, like I said, it'll just be a portal. Follow that. And then for Instagram, follow me at John JOHN Galan GALAN REI. And Benson, it's deals at EZYRES.com. So the one that Jamil posted on YouTube is correct. Deals.EasyRes.com. Yep.
There
perfect.
we go.
And I would say bookmark it, and you just have to click it, submit a property. You'll automatically get an email from us that we received it, and then we'll email you back with any if we're going to work it or not, or any other feedback we got.
Folks, can we give John some love in the chat? Also, if you haven't already moved your mouse the inches to like this video, go ahead and do that for us right now. John, I love you, bro. Congratulations on all the success. Congratulations on everything you've got going on. Many, many, many blessings to you. Many more millions of dollars to you. And you keep doing what you're doing, bro. You're changing the game. You're helping people. You're making tons of money at the same time, and you're damn handsome at the process. So you got it going on, bro.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for everything you taught me, and especially the mindset portion of it. I mean, that's been the biggest thing. And then Benson, appreciate you for creating such a fantastic tool that allows my business to be organized and get deals and sell deals. And you'll learn, guys, from Corianne how to talk and how to comp, and Helena, stick to listen to Helena, how she talks to buyers and finds buyers, because we wouldn't be selling half the deals if we didn't have a killer on the phone like Helena. So definitely want to learn from both of the women coming up. So appreciate you guys.
Love
Thanks,
you, bro.
John.
What a guy, man. What a guy, man. That was so fun. And up next, we've got this beautiful lady out of Colorado. We got Corianne Wright, the lovely, lovely, lovely. How you doing, girl? Good to see you.
Oh, I'm doing so good. I'm happy to be here. And yesterday on Straight Outta Compton, you asked me if I'd dress up, and I thought about it all day. And I couldn't find a tiara to name myself the Privy Princess, but I did wear a Privy shirt. So.
Hey!
Yes.
That's a really cool shirt. How come I don't have one of those shirts, B?
Benson likes my
I don't know. I think I've offered you shirts before, and you're like, no. Do you have one that's all black with no Privy logo on it?
Okay,
Right.
touche.
Yes.
What'd you think of that though, Benson? Isn't he just incredible, bro?
It's amazing to watch him work. And you can tell it's like he's done it so many times. He has so many reps now that it's just second nature. And I don't want anybody here to get scared watching John, because that's like what you should strive to be. But it's going to take the small reps, the small things that you do every day, that you'll get there eventually, but you just can't give up. Right? You're going to hit obstacles. You're going to hit roadblocks. It's going to be hard. People are going to tell you no. You might even get cussed out. But if you keep doing the work, you can get to a place where you're doing things like Corianne and John are doing.
Absolutely. And Corianne, are you ready? I know nobody's
list.
She's uploading the list, so she's getting that list in her system here. Guys, so there's a reason we've got Corianne. Not that John wouldn't have totally crushed it on the phone. I wanted to break this up so that you guys could see that this business can really happen in moving parts, right? So if you are, working on specifically acquisitions or doing like lead management for your team, you can then pass the ball over to somebody else on your team, and then they can take that conversation, have the conversations with the agents, and bring in the opportunities as well. And so, part of this is to give you guys A, different perspectives, B, different flavors and approaches. But I've listened to Corianne on the phone, and she is like hands down one of the best. John is, again, one of the best as well. So please, again, he's phenomenal. But Corianne, she's really, really, really good. She finds alignment with the agent. She knows how to not offend people. She knows how to put these offers out so that they actually will get accepted. And then she also knows how to plant seeds for future opportunities, right? Because she may not want to swing at the ball this time. She might be catching, through emotional intelligence that this agent may not be quite ready, or this seller might not be quite ready to take a lower offer, but it could be coming around the corner, right? So, Corianne, before we actually get into it, Benson, we'll see you in a little bit. Corianne, can you give me some of your best practices on calling agents and working on market opportunities?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? The thing that people ask me for the most is a script. And it's the thing I can't seem to whip up for people, because it is just about approaching like you and approaching honestly. And I think anytime that you're dealing with the script, sometimes that can get a little distracting. Is, oh, I need to hit this, this, and this. But no, I'm just approaching, I'm an artist, I'm a wholesaler, I do investments, I'm licensed, and I'm interested in purchasing this property and trying to find out if it's the right fit. And I think if you come from that intention every time you approach, there's no ickies or weird, oh, I'm being on a sale call, because you can always be like, oh, now's not a good time, cool. Or, oh, I'm not the right fit right now, okay, cool. So I think that's like first and foremost is like, how do you approach and just intent and energy? And it's always that, like, maybe I'm the right person, maybe I'm not, but I'm certainly not going to get offended either way. The other thing is you're trying to have relatively quick combos. That's not what I'm the best at. I'm definitely better at rapport and longer combos, but I want to hit, who am I? What do I do? And how often do I do it? And then I want them to know that I have the money. Like, I've got the capital to deploy. They need me if they want this to sell. I don't need them. I will go buy a different property if it's not the right fit. And then often I'll ask, I'm always trying to get a temperature on what kind of offers are actually going to work at any given time. So I'm using sort of a, is there a number that will offend you, like, strategy, because obviously I'm always going to be below that list price.
Right. All great points here. And guys, again, speed, she wants to get in and on these conversations, or off these conversations as quick as possible, because she needs to move on to the next one. But she's also, at the same time, needing to build rapport. And so she's not going to just like run through the conversation and jump right into the number. She's going to, take a moment to try to gauge the temperature of the individual she's talking to. But I want to highlight one of the things she said, and that's status, right? She's maintaining her status on the buy side. I want you guys to really understand this is super important. Maintain your status on the buy side. The buyer is the game. The buyer is the business. Why? They've got the money. The buyer is the one who's bringing the money to the table. The buyer is the one that brings liquidity to the situation. Hands down, that's it. Okay, the seller needs the money. The seller wants to sell. The buyer's got the money to buy it. The agent needs the buyer to buy it. Everybody needs the buyer. So Corianne retains that status as the person bringing the capital to the table. What are some of the things that you say, Corianne, to get that status out there without being aggressive or offensive?
The words literally, guys, pencil, write this down. I've got capital to deploy.
That's it.
That's honestly that I use that over and over and over again. And there's other ways of being like, oh, I'm wrapping up some other deals and I'm looking for the next one, and some other ways of showing that you have that. But really, it's quite literally, I've got capital to deploy.
I've got capital. And basically, just like Julia Roberts said in that one movie where she looked really good and she was a hooker, she says, what did she say? I got the money, baby. I think it was. Was that right? Hold on a second. Bobby would do. Bobby, is that what she said? No.
I don't know.
No.
I don't know.
I don't know. All right. Well, I'm trying to keep this thing light while we go, guys. And somehow I said, the wrong thing already. So anyhow, Corianne, are you ready to deploy some capital today?
I'm so ready to deploy some capital.
I get to 12? We've got 12 properties in this list for you. Do you need to pull them up right now and kind of get your bearings on them and take a look at what we're dealing with before you start making these calls?
Well, I'm curious, just in the conversation, since I didn't miss all of it, or I missed some of it, what is happening with the off markets? What are we thinking there? Because I can kind of show going a more direct to seller, but I know that this is really geared towards on market and agents.
John, you're back.
Yeah. Okay. So that should be 306 dash. I had a feeling the upload would maybe not give everything. So if you want, like Corianne, when you go through it, 7-Eleven, Phyllis is good. The red ones are bad. Those aren't any of the addresses I have.
Oh,
So
okay.
we're just working on the green ones there, Corianne.
Do you? I mean,
Oh,
if you want, like for this, I could just share my screen so Corianne could see the exact listings that I had. And then you
Whatever
can just
works.
follow
Yeah, I
that
think
if you want.
that we might need to do that just so that she doesn't have but then she's not going to
That's
be able
fine.
to control it,
True,
right?
true. What I'll do is I'll just type the addresses one by one in the chat, Corianne, so you could just search them.
well, first, I clicked on too much. Is all of the green that we're seeing here, are all of these ones from your list?
7-Eleven, Phyllis, 239, Greenwood, Pine Hills, yes. Valencia, yes. 735, yep. 1967, yep. 1503, yep. 828, yep. Those are all good.
Perfect. Let's just focus on those and ignore the other 4.
Yep, I'll
'Cause-
text you. I'll put the other 4 in for you just in case you wanted to get to those.
Yeah, perfect. I got the
Amazing.
text pulled up.
Thank you, Johnny boy.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Jamil,
So,
are we comping
Corianne,
or
what
are
you
we
looking at?
calling, or
Well,
what do you think?
let's comp a little bit. Yeah, let's comp them. Let's see where you think you need to be on this. John did a soft vet on this. So guys, John got us to the point of he's checked the boxes of these houses need work. He doesn't know if they're priced well. They could be priced well. He did set up the filters on Privy, so we know we're not like outrageously overpriced. So that's a good thing. But we didn't do a full comp, so we can comp this one.
Awesome. Okay, that lets me know exactly where we are and what we're thinking. So first thing I'm going to do is say 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1959, 1-car garage, 1,500 square feet, 10,000 square feet in the lot, and try my best to lock that information in as I go down. But luckily, Privy also gives it to you at the bottom because my short-term memory is not there. Let's go down to comparables. And the next thing I want to know is what's going on. Now, Jamil, you comp with all, and I like that, but I get a little overwhelmed. So I'm
not gonna mess up your process here, girl. This is all you.
Ooh.
Do it the way you like it.
I like all and investor only because what I'm doing here, that might not be an exact comp, but I'm seeing investment activity and where they're purchasing. And I know you'll go through buyer stuff with Helena, but I just want to see what kind of activity is actually investment based. And by clicking all and investor only, that's what that's giving me.
Amazing.
So let's see what's around the corner. 3-bedroom. Oh, the other thing I'm going to do here, because this is going to save me a little bit of time, is I'm going to click sold twice, because then I'm seeing the most recent sales at the top of my list. And the reason I want to see this is, especially this year, we've seen some fluctuation happen throughout the year. So to the best of my ability, I'm not going to be pulling anything that's early in the year. I want to be pulling from the most recent. This is a little too new, but not totally. That's something to note, though. By just looking at all and investor only, I can already tell that the investor populace would rather have a 70s plus property than a 1950s.
Correct.
Let's look at this giant one and see if it's actually a comparable.
Guys, while she's doing that, I just want to remind you, if you go to runprivy.com and you use code FLEX, F-L-E-X. Why did we choose the word flex? Because we're flexing on the competition today. We're showing everybody how this tool has not only created millions of dollars in value in John Galan's business, but it's literally the one-stop shop, right? You're finding deals, you're vetting the deals, you're underwriting the deals, then you're finding the buyers. You do this all from this one tool. And Benson has done us a solid, giving us a tremendous discount for everybody who's not yet a Privy user. If you go to runprivy.com, use code FLEX, the annual is $999. It's never been that inexpensive. Actually, that's less money than I pay. I got to figure out how to get a refund because these guys charge me a little bit more. Actually, you know what? I'm happy to pay. I'm actually happy to pay the few dollars extra that I pay for my membership because it's dang worth it. It's worth it. Yeah. But if you haven't yet become a Privy user, now, if you were once a Privy user and you canceled, you will be able to redeem the discount. All right. So use code FLEX. Now, if you just cancel today and try to do it, we're going to catch you and you're not going to get to use a discount. But if you canceled once upon a time and you want to join back, run privy.com, code FLEX. Take it away, Corianne.
All right, so here's some things I'm thinking. First and foremost, the only flip I can find that's as old as ours is backing water. And in Florida, that's a totally different ball game. I cannot use it. So I'm going to hide it from myself because honestly, otherwise I'm going to keep wanting to go back there because it's the only one that's within our age range.
Yep.
So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm like, gosh, dang it, I really want to comp here. I'm not really seeing the right kind of prices to justify their 345. I'm not sure what the exact after repair value is because I don't have an exact comp of that age range. But let's real quick click on a couple more. And then I call and I ask, hey, you know, why do you have a price here? Like, is there another comp that I'm completely missing? What's going on? All that fun stuff.
This one looks like a nice remodel.
It's too small.
But it's a small home. I'm almost starting to feel like this thing might be listed a little over ARV.
According to some of the things we're able to pull here, she's listing it like it's a 1970s property, and it's not. So yeah, I think I honestly would just say, what are you thinking if I were to call on this one? And
where do you think this needs to be bought at, Corianne, in order for it to be an opportunity that would be exciting to you?
You know what's funny? Since I don't work the Florida market too much, if I had extreme motivation from an agent, the first person I would call is John. But
well,
if
we happen to have him here, John. What do you feel would be the right number for? I honestly think 220 is the number on this guy. Where do you think, John, this thing needs to be locked up at in order for this to be a deal?
So what ARV were you seeing, Corianne?
I think it's listed at ARV. At best, they're getting a 340.
345 ARV. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's just say, let me just put it in my good old handy dandy calculator.
That's funny. I have a handy dandy calculator.
1530 square feet, 345 ARV, and it's just cosmetic, right? The interior?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, 220.
Okay.
220. All right. All right. Corianne, you ready to make a call?
Yeah, heck yeah. I'm always ready to make a call.
All right, John. We'll keep you here. We'll keep you backstage, but we'll bring you back if we need you.
Sounds good.
Real quick, just to like back up what he just said, I went to the investor only here and looked at buy prices while ugly, and we're in the 200s. So
Yep.
He's got the lock on the exact number to be at, but this is a great way to go in and be like, well, what's the trends? Well, we got to be in the 200s for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, let's call.
Cool.
Real quick, I'm going to stop sharing so that I can snag the info.
Guys, you're about to watch a master
You're building this
at
up.
work. I'm just giving her so much anxiety right now because I'm just building this up.
Okay. 1 second. I don't have it on Privy, but I can get it. So all I'm going to do is look up the address. Find the agent. And call their butts.
Yes, Sensei Corianne. I like that name. Thanks, Tiff.
Thanks, Tiff. I have her book sitting right next to me right now.
Isn't she the greatest, though?
We have the coolest people in our community.
I know.
Serious. Let me make sure I have the number right. We're calling Tracy.
Tracy, come on down.
Hey, Tracy. Did I reach you?
Yes.
Perfect. My name's Corianne. I was just on Zillow and I was checking out your 711 Phyllis Ave. Is now a bad time to pick your brain on it?
No.
Awesome.
I'm getting ready to the door, but I got a couple minutes. I can chat.
Perfect. You just cut me off anytime if you got to run and we can catch each other later. but I'm trying to figure out if I'm the right buyer for this one because I'm looking for a few more flips to take on. I've got some capital to deploy, and you know what? I like what I'm seeing on this one, but I'm kind of lost in the numbers, lost in the sauce, if you will. Can you kind of give me the rundown, the whole story on what's going on with this property and who's your best buyer?
Okay. Well, the location, especially if someone flipped. And I think any reasonable offer, the family will consider. Same family has owned this house from the very beginning, essentially. So obviously the parents have passed on, the kids have it now, and there's 2 kids left, and so they've decided to sell.
Okay.
So property's high and dry, never flooded during the end, and we had the flooding event here. It is an old house. It does need some TLC, but the location is good in the proximity to the golf courses. It's in New Smyrna Beach, proximity to downtown. It's an area that can be short-term rental.
Okay.
And but like I say, it is an old house that needs some TLC, but other than that, it's somewhat solid.
Are the kiddos kind of hoping to leave everything in here? Or are they planning on moving the stuff out? What's kind of going on with that
that's
switch?
a tenant that lives there now. It's a friend of theirs just living there that was, going through and doing some maintenance stuff to it.
Are they on a month-to-month rent?
Will not stay unless he's got some kind of crazy deal on his rent. And he's sitting now, and he's law enforcement. He's a local deputy as well.
Okay. Well, that's wonderful. And so since they're on that in there currently, is there a tenant lease back, or are they planning on leaving the property?
Just a friend of theirs handshake.
Okay, cool. Obviously, I'm always thinking timelines for flips in regards to when can I pick this up and when can I let it go. So that's definitely an issue for me to have somebody in there for too long. Here's my next question for you, because honestly, this is probably the biggest sticking point, and I don't want to waste any of your time. I cannot find something that was a 1950s build on a nice resale. I'm looking for an after repair value that's in that 1950s and not 1970s. Do you happen to have comps that you're looking at to get this priced at the 345?
No, ran through our, MLSs, there's a couple of programs that kind of give a recommended, list price. And so that's kind of where they started. But like I said, I don't know anything on it, and they're very motivated to consider any reasonable offer. Okay. So they knew they listed it high to give them opportunity at the same time as, with their family friend that's a deputy. They just didn't want a bunch of tire kickers, combing through it.
I don't blame them. Have you already gotten cash offers on it that they've turned down?
Yeah, they've got some extremely low cash offers, but that was a while ago, and it's, to be quite frank with you, it's been on the market long enough that they would seriously give additional research. And like I say, at the same time, they have the opportunity if they think your offer is too low.
Gotcha. Yeah, of course. May I ask what the highest cash offer they got is that they turned down? Because that'll just let me know whether I'm wasting my time or not.
Yeah, no, I do. I'm not sure now. I guess that would be if I shared that either, at this point.
Totally understand. Can you tell me if I presented an offer with a 2 in front, would it offend you or your seller?
Say that again, I'm sorry.
If I presented an offer with a 2 in front, would it offend you or your seller?
No. It would have to, be mid or to higher 2s.
Mid to high 2s. Okay.
Yeah, probably close to the higher 2s. And what they had turned down was been in that area. So, but if you get real close to 300, I think it would get them thinking.
Close to 300. Okay. And
are you familiar with this area? Or?
Yes, I am. I have a couple of partners that they just tear through that area in terms of flipping properties. And right now I'm currently working on their Colorado deals, but I'm looking for some new ones. And the concern I have, because obviously you can walk to the beach and that's like the huge thing that everybody's going to love. But to to be able to resell it on the other side. Right now, I'm seeing kind of like mid 300s is where I can take it. So let me ask you this: on the majors, HVAC or roof, what are the things I've got to consider? Because that might be able to help me edge my way up a little.
Yeah, probably the roof, obviously, the HVAC, and then everything else is, cosmetic, and, it's got the original cabinets and everything else in there. So, because of the location is, and the size of the lot as well.
Okay.
It really helps support.
Given that you said location, do you really think that the right buyer here has to kind of have that emotional equity of being able to walk to the beach?
Yeah, you're not going to walk to the beach on mainland, but that's bicycle riding to the beach, golf cart riding to the beach, but you got your golf courses there, which is very popular.
Yeah, I don't care how you get there, unicycle there for all I care, but more of, is that what the right kind of buyer needs to see the value as the beach, not the value in the house?
The location and supply and demand, and it's not in a 50-foot lot HOA subdivision, and not everyone wants to live in, HOA subdivision that tells you every aspect of your life. So that brings benefit as well.
Awesome. Well, we're going to take a deeper dive into this. I'm sure my underwriter will come back with more detailed questions. If they do, can I give you a ring?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Awesome. I really appreciate your time today, and we'll talk soon.
All right. Take care. Bye.
Hey, all right. So love that. That was a great call. Bring John back on here. So, he said mid 200s, and then he tried to inch into the high twos. I think you could call back and be like, hey, okay, so I think mid 200s is where I'd be like maxing out at, but I really think I need to be closer to the low twos. So you'd probably want to anchor low. John, what do you think the highest Corianne could offer on this is?
So if the only thing is, like, even 345, I think might be high
On the ARV. Okay.
Yeah, there's not that much really selling that's even showing us 300. It's also by train track, so it's a little weird. What's the total square footage on this thing again?
I think it was
1530, right?
1530, yeah.
30, yeah.
Okay, and we're 1959, right?
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Which means you can theoretically comp it up to like a 19, like worst case scenario, like 1970 would be the cutoff.
Right.
But I think high 60s is probably best. But if you had to use a 70s, you could use like a 1970 comp.
Yeah,
Okay.
it just seems like a weird area. I would stay as close to, so like whenever it's something like where it's a little strange, where not too many comps, I usually try to stick. Oh damn, that actually hurts a lot.
This
What are
one?
you seeing?
Doesn't it?
439 Sheldon Street
Mm.
hurts a lot. It's a remodeled 1729 3-bed 2-bath, active at $219,000.
What?
That's crazy.
Actors, man, are killing me these days.
But like, I think they're just listed way too low. Like, that is actually wild.
What was the address on that one?
439 Sheldon, Sheldon.
Oh, it's not even popping up in my active, so it must not be that close.
But it's sold at 245. So to be honest with you, I would just use like as is. I would say like if you're at least if you're between 220 to 2, I wouldn't really want to push this out over 245.
Okay, so
I would try to be as close to the 220 range as you could be.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, Johnny. We're gonna go on to the next one. All right, so we've got 220 on that. Corianne should probably just make that note down and then later on call that agent back and do a follow-up. We're going to get through as many of these initial calls, and then maybe Corianne, before she leaves, will do a follow-up call with somebody that she talked to earlier in today to see if she can make a pitch at a number, just so we can hear how that goes. But we'll see how time permits and where we get to through this list. So let's move on to the next one.
Perfect. I might actually have a question for Benson because he moved. Oh, here it is. He moved the notes button on me. All right.
Look, Benson's just like, he's like, what? What'd I do?
Yeah, he doesn't know. His people moved the button on me. Okay.
Found it though, right?
Yeah, I did.
How'd you like that call, B?
Oh, she's masterful. When we were doing Wholesale 101, I get the privilege of listening to her talk to agents every day. And I learned so much from her. She's so good. And it isn't just like what she says, it's how she says it. Right. It's like, so like, hey, we're in this together. And, you know, she's got a really good tone of voice. And again, reps. She's done this 1,000 times. So she's not stumbling through her words. She just says it so eloquently.
I did stumble through my words though. I did this hundreds of times. And there was one time I was like, and then just keep going.
Bobby, that's a clip for IG right there. All right, on to the next call.
All right.
If you missed our Privy masterclass, here's a highlight.
There you go.
That's a real.
I'm here for it. Okay, cool. So I'm looking at Deltona, Florida now, 4-bed, 2-bath, 1,300 square feet. And then I'm going to go to all investor only. Save. I think one of the fun things, and we could show this on the next one, is you don't even have to comp to have a good conversation to figure out if there's motivation.
100% agree. 100%. We don't need to comp them all either. I wanted to kind of just go through that because people have seen us comp using Privy all the time, but I wanted folks to be able to see, because we said we're going to show you start to finish, guys, from acquisitions to Dispo. Privy is literally like the tool. It's the tool.
Yeah. Cool. Just taking a glance at this kind of gives me an idea of where we're headed. So I'm going to steal this. And that's certainly that they're not at the right price. So let's find out what it is. Paste. I'm just pulling the agent's number.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Jeffrey, how is Jeffrey today?
Do it in that accent and I'll give you $5.
Oh, I know you got more than $5. If you want me to keep an accent consistent, you got to make it better than that.
Oh, shit. Okay. Let's see what she...
Oh, she can negotiate. Okay, let's call Jeffrey.
System. 4.
Let's call him twice.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system. 40.
Jeffrey.
Jeffrey,
And then you wonder why you're not selling any houses, Jeffrey.
1 second. Let's see if we can throw him under the bus to his brokerage. 1 second. It'd be a real bad sign if your brokerage number doesn't even call anywhere. It doesn't.
Wow.
Ooh. So why is this sitting on market? Because they've got a bad agent.
Holy moly. All right, on to the next one. What a bugger. Guys, it really is important to vet your agents. And not a soft vet like John was talking about earlier. We're talking a hard vet. We need the full frisk.
Full frisk, exactly. All right, this next one, Pine Hills Road in Orlando. I'm not even gonna look at any of it until I'm on the phone.
Jeffrey, you're fired, right? No doubt. Good one, Jim. You're fired, Jeffrey. You're fired.
All right, next up. On Pine Hills Road, Nadja. Guessing that's how you say her name, but watch me flail if I don't say it correctly and we'll fix it. 75.
This is Nadia speaking. How may I help?
Hi, Nadia. My name is Corianne. I was just taking a look at one of your Zillow listings. Is now a bad time to chat with you about it?
No, it's okay. Okay.
Oh, I'm glad to hear it. Am I saying your name correctly, Nadia?
It's actually Nadia.
Nadia. Okay. I like that better, actually. So thank you for correcting me. I was looking at your 325 North Pine Hills Road in Orlando.
Pretty interesting, huh?
It is interesting. Honestly, it's got me asking all sorts of questions. So can you just start with the story? What's going on?
Story is mom and daughter. Can you hear me well?
Yeah, I can hear you great.
It's like sometimes people say they can't hear me on that phone. Mom and daughter have been living there, family home forever now. I didn't think that anybody else ever lived there. So the main part started in 1948, and then throughout the years they did, additions. So we have a perfect property if somebody wanted to have multi-generational living, or maybe went on one side and live on the other side. Basically, we have 2 septics, we have 2 water heaters, we have 2 ACs. The only thing that's what needed to be split is the the electrical. We also have 2 kitchens. We have 2 full bathrooms, separate entrances, and in the front of the property, I'm not sure if you see it on Zillow, there is really great parking. Now it is on North Pine Hills Road, which is a fairly busy road, but it's not in the area where we have on Pine Hills has sometimes, most of the time actually, 2 lanes going into each direction. This part of North Pine Hills Road is actually only 1 lane each direction. This is like where it gets a little bit more quiet. It's 5 miles from downtown Orlando, very close to the 408. Let's see, we call it on the 720 zip code. Are you actually familiar with Orlando, with the areas here?
No, I'm not. I'm actually investing from Colorado, but my teams are out in Orlando.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so 5 minutes from downtown Orlando, there is a couple, I would say 2 blocks down the road, somebody can get on 408. 408 is like a toll road, but it gets you everywhere. It gets you to downtown Orlando, it gets you to Disney and Universal, etc. within maybe 20-30 minutes. I mean, sometimes we have bad traffic here.
I don't want to cut you off because I know I asked for the whole story and it clearly has a lot, but I am curious almost immediately if that second edition was permitted.
Some of it and some of it isn't. And it's Orange County, not the city of Orange County. I'm sorry, not the city of Orlando, it's Orange County. And they are very gracious if there's something is not permitted. Let me pull up my clipboard for this property. Is that it? Yes. 1 second.
Okay, so if I understand they might be okay with that, that's fine. Is it zoned to be 2 units at least? If we did make the electric separate?
Yeah, you have to live in one of the units, and then you can rent out the other side. And I called the city or the county, and they told me that the area that you live in should be bigger than the one that you rent out. So, and they have that actually on this property with separate entrances. One is a 1-bedroom with a huge bedroom, complete kitchen, dining room, living room, access to the backyard, and access to the laundry room. And this was mother and daughter, like I said. So they opened at 1 wall from the living room, and that went into the addition where we have 2 bedrooms. The bedrooms are fairly small. We have a dual bathroom.
I don't.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, it's fine. I know you're busy as a realtor and I don't want to take up too much of your time given the fact that it might not be the right move based off that alone, that you would have to live in one side. For me, because I'm investing, I'm specifically want to see like highest and best value and what can I turn this into? I'm curious from your side of things, if we just kept it all a 1 family, just like single family across the board. Where do you see an after repair value for something this kind of unique and off a busy road?
It's not the busy part, busy road. So it's a little less busy, but okay, I got you. It's
Unique. We'll stick with just that one.
Unique, that's right. The market is getting better. There was a little stale for a couple months, so people sold for crazy low prices. This one is very unique because of the size, because everything in Pine Hills over there is about 1,000 or 1,200 square feet. We are 1567 under air, and total living area is a little bit over 2,000. So just alone the size is going to help a lot. Once it is rehabbed, you should be able to do 340, 350.
Okay.
That should be doable. And then because of the area where the property is, it actually qualifies for 100% financing without a PMI. So that's not something that you would want to know because you're an investor, but you could actually afterwards market it for that, because most people nowadays have a problem with coming up with all of the closing costs.
Yeah.
And you can 100% finance it. And there's a conventional loan, minimum 600 credit score, and no PMI. That's mortgage insurance, So that's really a cool, sweet deal for anybody.
I can see that being, definitely huge for a retail buyer, that ability. And of course, that's who I'm thinking about on the other side of the flip. Now, I'm going to look for that 340 comp. If you have one for me and would be willing to text this number with it, I would absolutely appreciate it, because that 340 comp would be a great thing to lock onto. But right now, with some of the numbers I'm seeing, I'm probably closer to that 200 mark. Are you receiving cash offers? Have they already said no to cash offers?
We do have one right now that is 234. And I will know as of tomorrow if they're moving forward or not. Okay. They want to do their inspections and due diligence before we even do paperwork, So I will know tomorrow if they want to move forward.
Okay.
And then I can most definitely, if they're not moving forward, reach back out to you. Absolutely. You said you are where?
I'm in Colorado, but I invest over in the Orlando area. And I'm so sorry. I have to let you go. My title company is calling me. You know how hard they are to get. But so great to connect with you. Thank you for your time.
Same here. Bye.
My God.
She was chatting. Sorry, y'all.
Holy gymnastics, by the way. But I mean, I think Daniel DQ over here had it right. She was just making stuff up as she went along there. She didn't have a freaking clue what she was talking about. The numbers there, and they made no sense. The 235 offer that she's talking about is a lie. I mean, I'm not Maury Povich, but I can tell you, I could feel her heart rate, and I could see her. I could smell her palm sweating, and that was absolute BS. But the reality is, I think that they haven't got a lot of action on here, and if you did write an offer about 200, I think that it could be presented. John, what do you think about that at 200?
I think for a 1567 square foot house, I think you're going to have to be closer to like 180, maybe 190. I think ARV is closer to 310. That 340 is listed, and it's been listed for like I think like 45 days or so with like 500 views. And it's 1446 square foot, fully remodeled, 340, 32 days on market, 534 views. There is a house literally on the same, really right close to us. It's 1400 square feet, fully remodeled, sold at 309 in July 24th.
That's a good one.
I think we call it closer to like 310, maybe 315. So
Okay.
I would want to sell it at that max 200K price.
I had that as a gut feeling, but I knew on the phone with, especially that I wanted to get her off soon, that if I had given her hey, if I'm lower than 200, would you be okay with this? That it would have, but it's not that busy of a road. And we would have just gone
Yeah,
into.
I think it's still a
downtown.
double yellow line, and even it doesn't look like the best area. You're kind of like also by like a highway type of thing. So I know there was another house that was 300 square feet smaller, sold around 283, fully remodeled. So I do think you're going to be in the lower, like maybe 310, 315. So I would say ideal offer is 180.
All right.
Perfect.
Thank you, Johnny boy.
Yep.
I think honestly we should try that 180 offer. I believe that the reality is that 235 doesn't exist, and 180 is probably the best they're going to get right now. But that was a great call, Corianne, and the great escape as well. Wonderfully done. I love how you control the conversation. And if you guys noticed, she says, "I don't want to waste your time, and I don't want to waste my time." She'll repeat that a couple of times. And she's doing that to show the agent that she's here on business, right? She doesn't need the fluff. She doesn't want the fluff. She really just wants to get to the brass tacks of the situation here. Is this an opportunity for me? And, you could see that the agent wasn't really aware of how this house could be flipped or what the numbers were or if they made sense or not. And so she couldn't really reply with a straight reply on some of Corianne's very to the point questions. She danced around the subject like over and over and over again, which is indicative of somebody who really just didn't get it. Right. So I think that this agent very likely is not going to sell this house anywhere near this list price. I think that this house trades at 180. And the goal here is Corianne following up enough times to be the person who is able to lock this up at 180. That's where this thing trades. Now, is Corianne's follow-up game going to be strong enough for her to actually be there when the 180 gets accepted? That's the game here, guys. That's it, right? Now, if you guys liked that call, do us a favor right now and hit that like button, because we've had over 200 of you here, 230 at one point, and still only 145 likes. That means that some of you guys are not just moving your fingers enough to just hit that little, and you hurt her feelings. Look at that. She's
Maybe I won't get on another call. You don't like it.
Oh my God. You guys are going to make Corianne cry? What's wrong with you? You're monsters. You're monsters. All right. Keep it going.
All right. Let's talk about this one that's next on my list, because I'm curious if John saw this sucker, which was that they last sold a couple months ago. I guess now maybe a quarter ago at 222. So I'm not sure.
At 250. So what's going on here?
Yeah, like what's changed since that time?
Let's comp it.
Okay, cool.
I don't think a lot has changed because the condition still looks very original on that property. And so maybe they were going to flip it and maybe they changed their mind. There could be a number of reasons why they're trying to sell the property now after just having purchased it. But really good point to note.
Yeah, just facts. We got a big lot too in comparison to what's happening in the neighborhood. And yeah, 4-bed, 2-bath. I'm probably going to take something like this and then adjust for that extra bedroom. Let's take a look. Oh yeah, they both have red doors. 1-car garage. I'm going to go down to the before and afters of this one. They made it super cute on the inside.
That is a very cute remodel. That's weird. You walk into a fireplace. I've never seen that.
Yeah, that's honestly a little awkward. I don't know. Okay, that's too old.
Be like, welcome to my home, and fire.
Right. I don't have to do too much clicking here to know that we're probably at like a 280. Yeah, because it just keeps getting repeated. 280, yep. 280. The 307 is too old.
So would you, when you're talking to this agent, are you going to say, all I'm finding is evidence of this house being worth 280 with a full remodel, and then work backwards from there to kind of see if you can back that agent into agreement of price with you?
I think if I didn't know that it had just sold at 222, then that's absolutely the direction I should go. In this scenario, I kind of just want to bite straight to, hey, I've noticed you guys have been taking drops on this, but it recently sold in the summer. Like, what's going on? And see if maybe it is a wholesaler or a flipper who's decided to move on. Because I think if we're looking at a 280 ARV, and I'm sure John can put it in his calculator real fast right now.
You really need to be at like 160.
Exactly. We'd have to buy below that 222.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this one might be just a quick call, and you know, because I think, John, you in agreement there? This one, you know, they've just bought it at 222. I think you need to be in this thing at like 155, 160. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, you could probably sell it. Like, it doesn't look horrible. I mean, I would probably push it at like maybe 175 max to a buyer.
Look at this. We got a winner in the chat here. This is $168,000 offer. Yeah, that I'm impressed.
Yep.
Legit. That you're bang on the number there, bro.
Other thing,
or sis,
I saw it was Mark Spain listing it. Mark Spain also wholesales those that company. So I'm curious to see if they also are, if they're wholesaling this.
This could be a wholesale deal. Let's investigate. Corianne, take it away.
Okay. That was going to be my guess too, was that it was a wholesale deal just based off of cleanup. So now, and that's knowing your market, is knowing who's the players and how they play. So let's see if the agent knows it's a wholesale. All right. Calling.
Hello, Jessica speaking.
Hey, Jessica, this is Corianne. I was just taking a look at one of your Zillow listings. Is now an okay time to poke your brain about it?
Sure. What particular listing?
That's the 1643 Valencia Ave.
Okay.
It's cleaned out. It looks like it could be ready for retail buyers. Is that kind of what you're after right now?
Yes, we're on market for retail buyers, not investors. It's actually an investor owns the property, so I don't have any wiggle room on the pricing. We just decreased the price, but they set like the price reductions. We just decreased the price by 240 to 240. We're at 250.
Okay. And yeah, I just noticed the sale on it that was over the summer was the 222. So at this price, they're kind of already ready to take a loss, huh?
Right. That's why there's no wiggle room on the price.
Totally makes sense. Who's the right kind of buyer that's going to pick this up?
Who's the right type of, for anyone that's willing to pay the full price.
You're like, anybody that'll give it to me. Okay. That totally makes sense. You know, I'm not the right person that's going to buy at that 250. I am just licensed. And so I always like to know, are you looking for a specific type of buyer? But here, I think it's just, sounds like it's a retail buyer that's willing to put in the elbow grease.
Retail, not an investor, because the investors I know, you guys are coming in like 60-70%. So that's not going to work for this listing.
Got you. Okay. Well, thank you for your time, Jessica. I really appreciate it. And I look forward to talking to you again when you got another ugly property.
No problem. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Dope.
Yay.
Keep it pushing. She's not wasting time, guys. She's getting right to it.
Not the right deal for me. Carolina Ave. Ooh, a boarded window, but it looks pretty on the outside. This is interesting.
Yeah. What's up with this?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think I remember the pictures in here. It gets pretty gnarly as you keep going. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, she's rough.
Yep.
She's perfectly ugly in every way.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like this is one of those ones that, you know, it kind of looked pretty good on the outside. And then once you looked on the inside, it was nasty. Kind of like the girl you met at the bar last night.
Jamil, this is another one. This is another failed flip. They are out there like crazy right now. And this is one of them. They bought over the summer. They clearly tried to put in some effort. They got hit with the window. like rough.
Rough.
But they're probably at the max of that. So I can call, it's probably a similar story. So I'm just going to jump to the next one and see if
Okay,
maybe.
let's keep it. Let's look at the next one. That doesn't look like anybody got my joke, which I guess is probably good. You got it, but yeah.
I heard my goats laughing from afar. They were like, yeah.
Thanks, Corianne. Thank you.
Anytime.
Your goat laugh was pretty great.
Yeah, feel free to make that an Instagram post too.
Oh my God.
Okay. So, you know, we're nice, we're retail, but we're not flipped. Gosh, what the heck is this? Okay, bought in 2022, thank goodness. Let's go to Comparoos. I already have the itchy feelies that this is listed at after repair value.
You got
Just
the itchy
based off
feelies?
Yeah, the 300.
Just based off that 300 sale that's right there?
Just based on John's privy touching mine, I have these itchy feelies all of a sudden.
Yep. That was a good one too.
Thank you. All right. I want the list, guys. 240, 280. Yeah, I just.
Let's keep it pushing.
Well, let's see if they have some motivation, because they're not a flipper, so they're just a seller that's unreasonable. Let's get on the phone.
Let's get on the phone.
Let's get on the phone. Oh, and by the way, I'm not spending a lot of time telling them who I am and why they should reach out to me when they have an ugly property, because I don't work these markets. But if I, like for Jessica, for example, I know she works with investors or is tangential to that. So in ending that, I would probably say something like, well, let me know if you've got any other off markets coming up, or, oh, do you have any other properties that we could talk about? Those kinds of things are the best way to wrap up a phone call in your market. Guys, I'm trying for the love to find Andrea. Okay. All right.
Hello, and thank you for your call. You have
another one.
Hello.
Hey, is this Andrea?
It is.
This is Corianne. I was just looking at one of your Zillow listings. Is now a bad time to poke your brain?
Sure.
Thank you. So it's the 1967 Lake Drive in New Smyrna.
Yes.
Honestly, I'm looking at it and it looks like it could be the right buy for me, the right flip, but I'm curious, what's the story on it? Have you had flippers look at it already? You know, who's your right buyer?
So right now the seller is using it as an Airbnb.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, and it's already been, you can see there that we've done a ton of upgrades already, because a couple years ago there was a flood, so it had to be done. So that's why there's all that rewiring, blah, blah, blah. But all I've had is, investors, but they're offering very, very low pricing.
Okay, you do not want that. I'm trying to figure out my after repair value to even figure out the right number to maybe save myself some time and definitely save you some time. Can you tell me what was the highest cash offer that they rejected?
230.
230. Okay. Is it?
Yeah, right now she's looking at asking price for like 290 and above. I would
Okay.
say.
So it would be a waste of my time to put a 260 or 270 in front of you right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. She doesn't care about the cash. She wants the full value.
Yeah. Well, right now she's making some money off that Airbnb aspect, right? So it's full value or bust, basically.
Well, plus the investment that she already put into it, right? She's only had it for 2 years, so.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Where did she buy it at? Was she had to update it?
Yeah, she updated it
okay.
too. You can see from the photos.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But
I
she moved the
appreciate
tax system.
that
Yeah,
transparency so much, because as I go to my underwriters, if it's like 305 or bust, they need to know that to save some time.
Yeah.
I have a feeling I'm definitely mid 200s. I'm not exactly sure, but if I get any questions from my underwriter, can I give you a call back?
Yeah, sure. No problem.
Awesome. I really appreciate your time today, and I'll talk to you later.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
I love that she gave you the real answer. I actually believe her when she says that 230 was the highest cash offer they got. Guys, think of that. 230 is the highest cash offer they got. Like, the market's rejecting this at 305. And it's rejecting it hard. Like, it's rejecting it like it's rejecting it like Bobby rejects a 10-speed bike.
Perfect.
What do you think of that one, Bobs?
Pretty good.
Top notch.
That was a good one, right? All right. On we go.
Oh, man.
On we go.
Cool. We're headed to this one. The beauty of it is I could call her back and be like, you know what? That 230 is pretty solid. Like, here's my 220. You should go take that 230 and just like give her some reality. But I want a deal. Let's find a deal.
Teresa, she's good at this because she practices, right? It's just, and then you watch these and then you try yourself, you watch and then try, and that's it. This is a game of reps. And so you're going to be just as good as Corianne is, Teresa, the more you do this. That's the reality.
The more times you sound like an idiot on the phone, the closer you are, because I've definitely given some idiot coins my direction. Let's see.
I doubt that, but okay.
I mean, we all have calls where we're like, ooh, and it's about making the next one.
True.
But thank you. I will take the best on the phones. I'm happy to work on that. Okay, guys. 4-bed, 2-bath, 1,700 square feet, 1965. I'm going to go to most recent sales. And this is a 2024. So nope, buy. 2019, nope, buy. 2020, 2004, no. Even 1980 is unfortunately a no. Okay, so now I'm lined up with some sales in the area that are actually around the same build, and I'm looking at prices, and I'm probably going to say that we're at a 300 is going to be our after repair value.
Okay, so if 300s are our ARV, we probably need to be in this thing around like 165, 170-ish is probably where I would say. Maybe you can get up to like 180. What are your thoughts on that, Johnny boy?
Which one is this?
We're looking at Derbyshire.
ARV, you said
Here's
was
the
what?
deal, though. I
She
was
says-
thinking the after repair value was 300, but I just found an active comp that's sitting on market for 18 days at 220. Same bed, same square footage, similar year, just a little older. So
Yeah, but that shows third-party data, so I'm always skeptical about third-party data.
okay.
Let me see. What year build is that one? I'll see if it's listed.
1965. It is listed.
Let's see. And it's listed at how much? Not
It's
hours.
listed
so
at
the comp.
265, which might be the after repair value. But I think you could potentially push it up to a 300 based off of this comp, 1271 Cedar Circle.
So let's just call it. Let's just be safe. Call it 290. Not sure what the interior looks like. How's it look inside?
It is looking.
That's a full on. That's Granny's house right
Yeah.
there.
That's grandma's,
I mean,
grandma's
you could
house.
keep
That's
this
Grammy's house.
really lovely wallpaper.
I mean, yeah, I would probably want to be closer to like the 160 range on this one.
So they're about
Okay.
100K off. Okay, great. You got your work.
And
cut
are
out for
you
you,
loosely
Corianne.
placing that after repair value at the 265?
Loosely, yeah, because there's a 2,000 square foot 4.3. It's not fully updated. It's kind of just like whatever, cleanish. And that sold at 290. I don't really see much selling at 300. There's that one 305, 1984 square feet. That one's kind of remodeled. I would just be safe and just call it 290. I would say between 160 to 170, you're probably okay. But there's not too much activity at a 300 price.
You said you want it for 160?
Yeah, around 160, 170.
Yes, Captain, my captain. Let's see what I can do.
Let's get it.
Thomas. We're calling Thomas. Hey, Thomas.
Yeah, this is Tom. Can I help you?
Hey, Tom. My name's Corianne. I was just looking at one of your listings, the Derbyshire Road one. It's now a bad time to pick your brain?
Sure, go ahead.
Well, I would love to be able to flip this property, but right now I'm not sure if I'm the right buyer just based off of price. Have you gotten a lot of flippers interested?
Yeah, I got a lot of flippers wanting to pay, 170, 190, in that range, which makes sense. If I was going to try to flip it, I would do the same thing.
Yeah.
The sellers got a little flexibility at this point, but not that much. They're really looking for an end user buyer that wants to move in and do their fixing as they go. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Or somebody who really likes floral wallpaper today.
Yeah, they have a tenant in there right now, and the tenant should be moving out in the next week to 10 days, and then they're considering doing some of those fixes. I'm talking to them about whether they should do that or just lower the price enough, but because it's definitely everything's dated. They're going to get rid of the furniture either way. So then it'll just be like a blank canvas, and so we'll see. But yeah, obviously I can't tell you not to make an offer, but I don't think they're going to accept an offer, under 240, 250. You know what I mean?
Sweet. Hey, I appreciate the transparency. That just lets me know, whether I'm wasting my time trying to get my numbers in order. You said that tenant vacates in about a week?
Yeah, about a week to 10 days. Yeah, I forget exactly, but it's a few days ago they told me he was going to be gone in 2 weeks. It's a tenant, but it's like there's 4 heirs and it's one of their kids.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's and he's leaving.
Got you. Would it be worth a call to you in about 10 days to just ask where are they with all the improvements that they would have to bring to get this 265? Because it sounds like you're pretty level-headed and that 265, most in the neighborhood are going to be nicer than this one to get that 265. And I'm sure you're kind of coaching them along the way of the work that they would need to do. Would it be worth reaching out at that point and saying, hey, here's my numbers so that they can compare at that time what it would mean to just get cash in their pocket before Thanksgiving?
Sure. I mean, it's always, always good to have an offer in hand to let them know where somebody wants to be.
Perfect. And I want to be a resource for you on that, because really it's just about giving them options. And I'm a good, solid cash option for them when you need that quick close.
Right. And you, so just to be clear, you close, you're not wholesaling or anything like that, right?
Correct. I will always be honest. I have wholesaled before, but right now I'm looking for my own property. And so I would keep you in the loop if I decided a different exit strategy.
I appreciate that, because I do the same thing. That's how I got them. They reached out for a cash offer,
I said, don't. I'm not. I gave him the same offer everybody else is giving him. I said, yeah, I'll give you 175. So I said, but I could probably sell it for you for more. So
Totally makes sense. We function the same way. I'm licensed here in Colorado, and yeah, it is about options. And right now, it sounds like they chose the option to sit on market at the wrong price. But if they're looking at other stuff, or maybe you've got a deal that you want to pass on that I would be the end buyer for, let's just stay in contact and see how we can close some deals together.
sure, sounds great.
Thank you for your time, Tom. I'll talk to you later.
All right, you have a great day. Bye.
You too. Wait, my volume, I think, is down.
That was a great resource. That buyer or that agent could be a potential JV partner, could be a potential wholesaler that you work with. He was like, and here you guys see how she masterfully addressed the question, right? So she's like, yeah, I wholesale. I've wholesaled before. And he's like, I do the same thing, right? So it's like, we don't always have to assume that the person we're talking to is going to be like, wholesaler? It's not how it goes, guys. It's not always like, immediate, oh my God, it's the boogeyman, right? Like, here's an agent who's actually a wholesaler also, and they get the game. And he even understood where the price needed to be in order for this to be a potential deal. Right. So that was a phenomenal conversation. We'll do another call here, and then we're going to wrap up with Helena Wu, who's going to be showing us how to find some buyers. So of the list that you've got there, Corianne, what do you think's got the most juice on it? And we'll try that one.
I think we got one more. So hopefully this is the juiciest.
The juices.
The juiciest. 149 to 10. Oh yeah, she's practically ugly in every single way. All right, comparables. Yeah, it looks like they're headed the right direction on these. Let's see, 130, 140. Oh. See, here's the thing though, is like, you're almost always calling people that have listed it after repair value, and you're explaining why you need to walk them back. Let's just call and see what kind of motivation we get.
All righty. Take it away.
I think they might be listed at after repair value though. Let's see. Sorry, friends, as I get the number. Come on. Interesting. It showed up as off market on Zillow. Benson, if you have data before Zillow, you're killing me. You're so good. Come on. Let's see here.
Nice.
I love it.
That's a great thing, right?
Heck yeah.
It's a great day at Keller Williams Winter Park. Please leave us your name and phone number and the property address of what you are interested in.
Nope. All right. This might be sitting on market just because the only place that I can find a number is their office number. So any buyer would have to sit there and go through that process. But what we are seeing over and over and over again, and it's so doable, is that they're shooting for the moon in hopes of actually getting their seller on board with them as the listing agent. They might know the right numbers, they might not, but it's really about telling them the right numbers and then following up consistently. Like, I actually have it written down from you, Jamil. It's on my whiteboard. Have the sellers finally come to terms with the price this is going to sell at?
What a great phrase. And it's a true statement, right? It's look, we know where this thing is going to trade at, and you know it, agent. I know it as the buyer. The sellers right now are the only people that haven't come to terms with that. So, when asking them, are they coming to terms with reality? Are these guys ready to actually address the selling this house, because right now it's just sitting on the internet. It's not a viable option for anybody. But once the price finds its way to reality, then your sellers are actually going to be in the, in position to sell the home. And so, what Corianne is saying, guys, is today was a great start, right? When we're doing this, like any acquisition strategy, there is an initial outreach, there's the initial conversation, and then there's a follow-up process. And it typically can take anywhere between 8 to 13 touches in follow-ups before an agent will give you an off-market property. And quite often you'll follow up 3-4 times on listed property. We heard John followed up 7. He followed up 7 times on his on-market that he made $100,000 on. So, John, we've got some potential opportunities over here. You and Corianne can continue working them as we go. I'm going to bring on your business partner, who I know is just killing it for you guys in Dispo. But before I do that, Corianne, I want everybody to do tremendous amounts of business with you. So how do people get a hold of you, Corianne?
They can find me on YouTube or Instagram at Corianne Wright, just my name, but I'm also dropping you my Blink cards so that you have direct access to me, and email, a phone number, because if you have deals in Colorado, anywhere along the Front Range, or in Northern California, I want to sell them for you. I want to help you get them under contract, you name it. I want to do deals with you, and I would really, really appreciate a subscribe on my YouTube, because I'll be bringing you more things like this, and you can see me on the phone more often, or whatever goodies you guys need. Just hit me up.
Highly recommend you guys giving her a subscribe and also checking out her details here on her Blink card. Do work with Corianne. She's flipping amazing. You guys can see she's like one of the queens of the Astro community. I absolutely adore her. Corianne, thank you so much for spending time with us today. You were masterful on the phones. You do a phenomenal job. Everybody loves you. You're the queen of popularity. You have great hair, and you're amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'll see you on Straight Outta Compton on Wednesday.
I'll see you Wednesday. All right, guys, this next guest, she is going to make you fall out of your chair. All right. Helena Wu is, in my opinion, one of the most formidable wholesalers that exists in the entire country. This gal came into the Astro community out of the world of finance in Wall Street, and it just wasn't gritty enough for her. She was like, these Wall Street guys, these guys are sissies. These guys suck. They can't even, I will smash these Wall Street guys. I need a bigger challenge in my life. I need a way to make millions of dollars. That's what I'm looking for. And then one day, Helena meets John, and they make one of the most incredible wholesale companies in the entire country. She went from doing a deal a month to 19 deals last month, where they grossed over $200,000 in assignment fees. Guys, there is no, I don't even know. I don't even have the words to describe for you just how incredible this woman is. Helena Wu, welcome. Thank you so much for spending time with us today. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing excellent. If you could walk us back, just tell us, how was it when you started, and how are things going for you right now? And then we're going to get right into finding buyers.
Sure. So when I first started, I don't really know, where I can find all the information about wholesaling. My initial impression is I need to drive for dollars, knocking on doors and all that, until I met Jamil and Astro. It makes me realize it's possible to wholesale virtually. So back then I was still in New York, working on Wall Street, but I was doing deals in Florida. And, from having a W-2 that I work 80, 90 hours per week while doing wholesaling whenever I have time, to now I'm able to have full freedom, do the things that I love doing, and work with people who I enjoy working with. Doing wholesaling, having a team of 15, 16 people, and, delegate out in the business stuff and more working on the business, and help my team member to grow to accomplish their individual goals. So it's absolutely amazing journey. I learned a lot, not just the knowledge about real estate and wholesaling, but also about building a business, managing people, painting a vision, etc.
Amazing. Thank you so much for that, Helena. And yes, guys, I mean, you heard her correctly. She was working 80 to 90 hours a week and doing wholesaling on the side. So I just want, for any of you guys out there, and not only was she doing wholesaling on the side, she was actually closing deals, right? So when you say, I don't have the time, when you say, I work too much, when you have these limits in your mind that stop you from taking action, remember Helena. Remember Helena, the woman who said she worked 80 to 90 hours a week and then wholesaled on the side to the point where it became her full-time gig. From 80 to 90 hours a week wholesaling on the side, she created a business where she could make it her full-time gig. I just need you guys to understand that you can do this. You can do this with a little bit of time. All you got to do is be efficient and get after it. That's the reality. Now, Helena, you have become like the Dispo queen of Astro. You're smashing deals. John just he said so many great things about you, but like he really respects just how incredibly efficient and talented you are at getting these buyers off of Privy. How important would you say a tool like Privy is, or Privy specifically, to you being able to sell all these deals?
Yeah, so Privy is super helpful. It's like a one place you can gather all the information about buyers across whole Florida, because we're doing deals all over Florida, and it's kind of taking extra work if you go on each county and look for buyers one by one. So Privy not only provide efficiency and the speed, but also it allows me to talk more intelligently, more informed when I'm speaking with buyer. So when I have a buyer, I can even see their past flip. I can vet them. If they say they have done flips before, okay, tell me the address. I'll pull it up on the phone call with you, and I can say, okay, if you are actually flipping that, or you are double closing that, or that's not your entity at all. So it's tremendously helpful. My whole buyer pool are built based off of Privy.
Incredible. All right, Helena, we're going to let you share your screen so that we can see your process on how you build a buyer's list. But guys, before we do that, I just want to remind you, you go to runprivy.com, and if you use code FLEX, F-L-E-X, because we're flexing on every other platform out there, you're actually going to get a better subscription price than I got. $999 for the entire year, which is like, it's usually $1,400, right? So I don't know what Benson's smoking today, but whatever it is, it's generosity. And he gave you guys a phenomenal deal here. So that's the offer. If you guys have not yet gotten Privy, please get it, because you guys can see from start to finish, acquisitions to dispositions, this tool is all you need for your real estate wholesaling business. Now, Helena, take it away.
Sure. So I guess before I jump on, you guys were like pulling some comps, etc. I think we can just use one of the comps as an example to find the flipper behind it. Let me see. Okay.
Are you familiar with sharing your screen on StreamYard?
I'm trying to figure it out. Okay.
So right down there, there's a present button.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Okay, wonderful.
Now. Navigating through the technology. All right. Jamil, do you remember like any comps you guys were looking at earlier?
Yeah, we were. There was here. I'll bring John back up because there was a couple of flips that we looked at.
Filter to just filter all the flips in the area is probably better.
Yeah. Or Helena, you could go look at one of our searches that we create for Neloy to pull.
Yeah.
So you could show people how to just do that straight from Dispo side.
Right. Yeah, I'll just show it from here. Let's say if people wants to find buyers in Orlando, which is Orange County.
So as you guys can see, first thing she's doing, she's just going into the search filter over here, and she's just pulling up her county.
Yeah, Orange County, Florida.
Yeah, John, how much do you want and where do you want it?
You heard that?
What?
I have my headphones in. I didn't think you heard that. I'm having lo mein for dinner.
That's great. Tell her I want a dish too. Say Jamil wants some.
Can you make 2 plates, one for me, one for Jamil? Thanks.
Okay, we have Orlando here, and if you just come to filter, let's just take a look at single family and look at sold, because if it's not sold, it's fine if you want to look at active or pending, because if a flip is pending, which means the flipper is, about to sell it, which means they probably need another project pretty soon. So
Yes.
there's demand, but let's just use sold as an example. You can click fix and flip, and then 75% of ARV. Privy will automatically calculate the price it was purchased before compared to the price it was sold as a flip. And then if that is a huge price gap during a short period of time, it's a good indicator that it's a flip. We can take a look at all price point. It's fine. And I like to put keyword. Let's just use fully remodeled as an example.
Yeah. So guys, she's using these filters so that she can just get right to the flipped properties. And when she writes in the search comments or search keywords fully remodeled, now she knows there's a high likelihood of the properties that she's going to be pulling here are flip properties. So then all she's got to do is see who owned it. She's going to find out the name of that LLC. She's going to skip trace that LLC. She's going to get the phone number, and there she's got a buyer on a list.
So only 4 showed up. So I'll change the keyword to remodel because, like previous thing to MLS or whatever, different county, you need to play around a little bit, see what's the best keyword. So changing from fully remodeled to remodeled, I got like 23 results compared to 4. So if I zoom out a little bit, 24 results. So let's take a look at each of them. So first one, 3302 Santa Monica Drive, sold at 440. If you look at pictures, like it's a beautifully remodeled house, right? In and out, everything is remodeled. And a good indicator is if you go to kitchen, like brand new kitchen, and if you go to bedroom, there's no clothes in the closet. Yeah, that's a good indicator.
That's a flip, baby, for sure.
For sure. And was built in 1995. Like you maybe want to adjust the filter to cap the year built before 2010 or 2020. So it's not a new build. But if you want to add builders, then you can just filter after 2020 or something. So because we're looking for a flipper right now, so this one is a perfect fit. Let's go to before and after. You can see, okay, this is the after picture. Before picture, there is no picture because you can see on the upper corner here, it's public record, which means it was sold off market. And it was sold on market after the flip. So sometimes if it's sold off market, you won't have pictures, etc. But if it's on market, most of the time you will have picture. And from before and after, you can kind of gauge, okay, was that a heavy rehab or was that just a cosmetic? So you can have a more informed conversation with the buyer. Scrolling down, you can see the square footage. Okay, the lot, the price from 280 to 440. That's like 64% of the ARV. It was under construction 35 days, on market 25 days. So look like a pretty quick cosmetic flip because the construction period is pretty short.
And this rehabber knows what they're doing. They're in and out, and they buy a little bit higher than I've seen. Some of these others sell for. So this actually could be a really good potential buyer for you, wouldn't it be, Helena?
Yeah, and like they definitely had a great experience. It's on market 25 days getting sold. If you talk with a buyer asking, hey, are you buying another one in the area? I'm pretty sure they would be happily accept your offer. Cool. So we can take a look at property history. You can see that, okay, it was purchased 2025 February and sold in April. And seller is the original seller, which is the home owner who were living there before. Purchased by TWO2 Gemas Investment LLC. That's a good indicator. If it's LLC, likely it's an investor, right? Because it's an entity. And it was sold by this person to this person is the home buyer. So this entity is the investor we're looking for. Because it's in Florida, you can go to SunBiz. So for different state, it has different website. So for Florida, it's SunBiz. Let me just show you guys really quick on SunBiz.
So now she's going to find out who the registered owner of that LLC is using the state's corporation commission's website. Every state's going to have a different corporation commission, guys. You can also go to opencorporates.com, which is a national website where you can find the same information out as well. But she's going to this one specifically for Florida.
Okay, so we can see the manager is Michael Rogers. So that's the person I want to skip trace. Just be mindful because here registered agent is also Michael Rogers, so probably he just be the RA himself, but a lot of times it's different person. And you want to reach out to like manager, not the RA, because RA is just like a lawyer, someone who doesn't own the property. So now we can go to True People Search. It's free, although you can use some other tools. But I like to have my VA use True People Search just because you can compare where that person lived before to make sure you are reaching to the right Michael.
I love it.
So,
and also, guys, I love the fact that it's free. So for any of you that are using PropStream or Batch Leads, because you're like, but it's not skip tracing in it. Okay. So it's 15 cents a skip. She's doing this for free over here.
Yeah, so you can see Michael Rogers. The address is Lake Mary's, Florida. I can probably put Lake Mary there, or I can just make it broad as Florida. Let's try Lake Mary, Florida first, see what we got. If nothing, okay, perfect, here we go. So we have three different Michaels. This one, I don't think so. This one's Sanford, lives in Sanford, maybe not. Let's take a look at this one, see if he's the person. And he's only 33 years old, pretty young. So yeah, looks like this is the guy, 860 Eagle Claw Court. Maybe not that one. Let's see if any address indicating 1540 International Way.
Now, Helena, Benson's single. Would you say this is a good way for Benson to find phone numbers for potential girls that he wants to date?
Yeah, he can like pull a list and cold call, see which one is interesting. Yeah, so I think I would definitely try, although it doesn't show that 1400 whatever, but it's a good indicator. You can also try other people, another Michael we saw. Let's see this one.
Now, what would you do, Helena? Would you call this buyer first before you add him to your list? Would you add him to your list and then call everybody at the same time? What's your process on how you build this?
Yeah, so I will definitely call them first because multiple reasons. First of all, you want to know if they're still buying and what their buying criteria. Because the market is changing and buyers' buying criteria are changing very often. If they were buying Orlando before, but now they focus in Georgia, you send them a Florida deal, it doesn't make sense anymore. So you want to make sure they're still buying. It's the right person, of course, first of all. Right person, still buying, know their buy box, and then also just introduce yourself, build that relationship because it's a relationship-oriented business. You want them to know who you are and they are looking out for your deals because, you know, if you send out a deal, they delete it right away. It's a waste of your SMS cost. And third reason is now the CRM, like no matter if you use Go High Level, whatever, are really cranking down for cold message. So if somebody has not opted into your system and you spam them with a lot of text messages, likely your account can be permanently banned, and that's bad. Basically, you cannot use it forever anymore.
Right. All of those points were spot on. Helena, how do you feel about making a call? Only if, guys, you all go and hit that like button and give Helena some love in the chat over here. And don't you worry, because I won't let Helena go today without her sharing her information on how you guys can all do business with her. So if you're wondering, well, do I have to skip trace Helena to get her phone number? No, we'll give it to you. We'll give it to you, but not yet.
Sure. So you can call this person. Not sure if that 33-year-old Michael is the right person, but I guess we'll figure it out.
Let's find out.
Okay. So let's see. It sold a few months ago, like in April, in Santa Monica Drive. Okay. Cool. Let's try it. Where's the phone number? Actually, for this person, it doesn't have the phone number for this particular Michael. So when it doesn't have the phone number, like a lot of times, I don't want to log on to my Facebook because you guys can see my page and all the feeds and stuff. But sometimes you just go on the Facebook and search the person's name. And a lot of times I saw a bunch of mutual friends, maybe like a buyer of mine or something, know him. So I'm searching on Facebook, see if I can find him on Facebook. Michael Rogers. Okay. Oh yeah, for sure. He's on Facebook and we have 13 mutual friends. His Facebook, just go ahead and search Michael Rogers. It says, we buy houses for cash. I'm a proud father and a family man, dream chaser and real estate enthusiast. So in this situation, since I don't have his phone number, but I know for sure this is a guy I'm going after, I'm gonna just add him as a friend and DM him. We're friends already, actually. So I'll just DM, hey, Michael, how's it going? So yeah,
awesome. So that was the right guy. And guys, you guys hear what she's doing here, right? So she's like got dog on a bone energy with this. She's not just gonna call the person. She's gonna actually, okay, do I know this person? She's done some double checking to make sure it is who she is. Now she's gonna go into her Instagram and she's gonna DM them. She's gonna add them as a friend. She's not letting this go until this buyer knows who she is. That's the kind of energy you have to approach this with. Right? At Keegley, we call it dog on a bone. Means I'm not letting this thing go until I got what I want. She's not letting it go until she gets what she wants. That's what you need to be successful.
Yep. I just text him. If you guys want to script, just say, hey, Michael, so you buy a lot of properties to flip. I saw one that is pretty cool on yada, yada, yada. Not sure if that's yours. I wholesale in the area doing good volume. Are you interested in having a conversation to learn more about your buying criteria, things like that. So,
boom. All right, let's keep going.
Yep. So here we go. This one also looked like a flip just from the curb appeal. Maybe not, like the driveway is kind of bad, but let's see. Yeah, I don't think this is a flip. It's definitely lived. Like the couch and all that stuff, it's being lived already. And
yeah, that couch is not staging furniture for sure. Nobody's gonna move that big ass recliner in and out of a house to stage it. And if you have an agent that's using a big ass recliner to stage a house, fire that agent.
Absolutely. This one looks like a flip. You can just tell after you see a few. This one looks all painted exterior. It's beautiful inside. I love it. It's definitely, and also that's like, I like to look at their pictures before I reach out to the buyer because it helps me to form the first impression about the buyer. If it's like a cheap job cookie cutter, cutting corners, nothing, pretty bland design, then probably that's a buyer doing cheap work. But for a buyer like this, like they have high standard of the work and they are high performer, but also because they typically replace in and out everything about the house. Their price maybe is deeper just because they spend more money on the house. So they are not the people who can offer the most. People who can offer the most are those people doing cheap job, but they are good relationships to have for sure. Because they are sometimes won't take on the risk. They know they can hit a higher ARV. So it was built 1949. Okay, let's take a look at before and after. So before it was bought on the market too, it's only 3-month difference. Oh, this bar is really good. Like, look at the before picture. It's like a rental. It's fine. It's nothing crazy. Pretty cosmetic. The carpet definitely can be replaced. Our kitchen is old. It's dated. And they do a pretty good job because they bought it like May and sold it less than 3 months. So that again, now a month or something. And the job is like, look at the before and after, completely different. I think they replaced all the cabinet and stuff.
That's one very, very, very serious rehabber. So this guy knows exactly what he's doing. He's in and out of these houses really quickly with a quality job. Definitely somebody Helena wants to be doing business with.
Yeah, for sure. Like really good job and all the details design. Look at the bathroom. Yeah, they just painted, but it looks different. Okay, so we can see it bought at 71% of the ARV. That's pretty high.
Very high. So
Yeah.
that means that this person's got their numbers and their margins down pat because they can overpay and still make money.
Yeah, exactly. So let's see, 445. The seller, this is the homeowner, this is the buyer. No, actually, because it's sold in August. So this is the homeowner. This one is the investor, and that's an individual. So usually sometimes pretty flip like the first name, last name. So you need to play around with it a little bit. I feel like Tara is the first name somehow, but we'll see. Yeah, and this house is in Orlando, so let me just put Orlando, see what we got. Again, like if it's not on True People Search, a lot of times, most of the time you go to Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn, you can find that person. Okay, this Tara, I don't know if that's Tara, 68 years old. 119, Glen Orlando. Phone number. Okay, we have the possible primary phone number here. So I think that person maybe is the right person. We can give that person a call. Because of the age, I'm not sure if that person is on Facebook, but let's give it a shot. See if we can find her. Tara Sam Soothing. Okay, I think this person is not on Facebook, but we can try to call the phone number because we have it here. Shall we try it?
Let's do it.
Okay, hopefully it's not, it's kind of a tricky time because 6:30 is like dinner time. Usually I would avoid calling people at that time. Like the best time would be between like 10 a.m. until 4 or 5 or 5-ish, or like after 8, because that's like after the dinner time.
It's like it's right in the middle of dinner now. But you know what?
Are you having dinner?
Are you having dinner right now? Well, let me give you something to chew on.
Okay, so the property is 719 Maxwell Street, 407-668-6357. You guys heard it?
Yep.
Okay.
Hey, this is Sarah. Leave a message.
Okay. Hey Tara, this is Helena. I came across a flip you guys did on 719 Maxwell Street in Orlando. It's absolutely stunning. Really good job. I love the design, the staging, and all that. I'm wholesaling in the area, doing great volume on a monthly basis. Would love to connect with you, see what you are looking for, and see if we can do business. Give me a call back or text back at this number, 215. Yeah, talk to you soon. So I'm not saying my number, but you guys got the script.
We got it. Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. We'll do a couple more, and then I think people will have kind of figured out what they need to do. But Helena, is there any efficiencies or any processes that you can help the listeners or the viewers today with, so that they can really make their list building more efficient?
Yeah, I would say list building, to be honest, I'll stop sharing. It's a long process, and it's like, it doesn't have to be a lot of volume, because for me, I'd rather have maybe 300 high quality buyers compared to having 2,000 buyers who have no idea who I am, and I just have their either wrong phone number or wrong email. So like if you want to rush into it, build a bunch of buyers, I would say a lot of times slow is fast, and with buyers you want to be slow. So I think having a good KPI, let's say adding 10 buyers when you are in the stage of building up your buyer list, is a pretty good KPI. If you have 5 solid buyers per day, after 2 months, you will have 300. And that's very, very solid already in a particular area. You can pretty much sell your deals very quickly. So I would say slow is fast, and having a KPI, and I would say focus more on the quality of the conversation, actually know them, and use the conversation as an opportunity to learn more about the market, how to run numbers, etc. So efficiency is important. I would say, if you can have a VA to do this kind of manual work for you, escape tracing, looking for properties, and you just be on the phone talking with buyer. That would be the efficiency part, but I would say Privy itself already save you a bunch of work. If not because of Privy, I need to go to the county website. First of all, I wouldn't know exactly which properties are being flipped. I can probably figure it out by using Zillow and Realtor.com, whatever. And I need to go to the county website, look up the seller information one by one, yada yada. And I wouldn't have the full information in terms of like how long was the construction and all that. So I think Privy itself help you save a lot of time. If you want to do the escape tracing in bulk, you can use some escape tracing software. That's probably the only part I think you can cut corners.
I 100% agree. Jim Hawkins has a great comment here. He says, bingo, Helena nailed it. It doesn't matter if you have 2,000 buyers. You just need a few good ones, right? Volume isn't really the thing here. It's the relationship. And Jim, you couldn't be more correct here. The relationships are key. Helena, do you have a deal right now that you are selling that maybe we could hear one of your buyer calls potentially? I know the time might be a little bit late there, but would it be possible to hear what it sounds like to hear this Dispo master try to sell a deal?
Yeah, sure. I just don't know if they will pick up, but we'll give it a shot.
Who's interested in hearing Helena on a buyer call? If you're interested in hearing Helena on a buyer call, before she does it, I want you to put a woo in the chat. Okay, that's a W-U. Put a woo in the chat if you want her to woo you. That worked. That was a good one.
It is. So let's see. This Pensacola deal, I'm trying to sell to. Let's see. I know this buyer is on vacation playing golf, so I won't call him. There's another person I want to follow up with. Let's see.
You got a lot of woos in there, Helena. There's a lot of woos in here.
Good. Let's see. I'm just searching his name in my CRM.
How many deals did you sell today, Helena?
Today should be 2.
Wow. How much money did you make?
That's the question that I don't really know. John is the person tracking everything, like how many deals we have done, how much money. But I think for these 2, before retrade should be 1 for 5. Another, I think maybe it's like 7 or something. That's before Pensacola and that Tampa house.
1 for 7,300, and the other one before retrade is
I brought buyer up for 2K, by the way, 3K, by the way.
On the Tampa one?
That one, yeah.
Okay, so that one's probably going to be around 3,500.
Okay, so that's before retrade. We always go for retrade every single time.
So before renegotiating, guys, they're already at 10K for the day. You can bet they'll get at least an additional 5 on top of that from the renegotiation strategies that they're using to get a little bit of a better value spread. But that's it. Like $15,000 in a freaking day. What is happening here? What kind of world do we live in? What is this? What kind of sorcery is this? And all of this from a tool that only costs $999 a year? Are you kidding me? This is so cool. All right, Helena, let's hear that call.
Okay, let's do it.
I'll remove us so you can have the floor.
Can you guys hear it?
call has been forwarded to voicemail. The person.
Well, he did not pick up.
He did not answer the phone.
Yeah, a lot of times they don't answer the phone, but actually I'm pretty close to this buyer. He's like a friend. And another buyer in Pensacola, like he even drove to Tampa to meet me in person because he is pretty big in Pensacola and I'm here in Tampa and I'm doing new development like construction and stuff. And he wants to partner with us. So he drove down here, check out the market, say, hey, if you have any deals for new construction, let's partner together. So that's good side about being at this position because know people and you build good relationships. You guys become partners in the future.
Absolutely. And Rahima and I have partnered with multiple of our buyers, and we continue to do more and more and more business with them as the years go along. So Helena's strategy here is on point. That's exactly what you would do. Maybe try a couple more buyers before we wrap it up, if possible.
Yeah, let's try this. Pensacola is actually selling to this buyer already. He's signing tonight. So let me find his name and I'll call him. Let's see where he is. Okay, I'm just going through my VA notes so I can remember who that buyer is. Actually, don't remember who is signing the contract tonight. So let's see the Pensacola one.
Yo, Helena, I know who it is.
Uh-huh.
Wait, you guys hear the sync? Hold on. I know who the buyer is. It's Joseph.
Yeah, I got him.
Joseph. You got him?
I got him, yeah.
All right, cool.
Okay, he said he will sign the contract, so let's give him a call.
Bobby does need to do a deal.
Mm-hmm.
You're next, Bobs.
I don't know if he will pick up. It's like tricky dinner time, so.
You've reached Joe Willis. I'm sorry that I couldn't get to the phone.
Well, it's a tricky time.
It is a very tricky time. Guys, she's on the East Coast. She's calling East Coast buyers. It's literally like supper time right now. So it's probably a really bad time to call people. They're probably looking at it like, Helena, come on, man. I'm just trying to eat my lo mein here. Why are you bothering me?
Yeah. But I'll call him tonight for sure, like maybe 8 p.m.-ish after dinner, and I want him to sign the contract, make the deposit tonight. I'm on him for sure, just not right now.
What a day, guys. What a flippin' day. We had Benson helping us really understand the core structures of how to choose a market, the key metrics we want to take a look at. We had John and I going through and really understanding the value of the direct to MLS data that Privy provides, and going and seeing what filters and what search criteria do we need to use in order to find some really good opportunities that we can very quickly identify so that they can be soft vetted. We then saw Corianne jump on the phone and have some incredible conversations with people, creating rapport, getting right to brass tacks. And then we saw Helena come through and show us in really short order how to go ahead and build a buyer's list. Now, you heard her say it's not about the volume, guys. This isn't a game of how many buyers you have. This is a game of how deep is your relationship with the buyers that you have. Now, you can see these guys are doing this at like at a high level. And this isn't complicated stuff. Right? You didn't see that they have like 6 computer screens going on at the same time. You didn't see, like 100 people office like you would if you walked into my office. You got 2 people doing business virtually from their homes, right? John is sitting in his apartment in Manhattan. We've got Helena sitting in her apartment in Tampa. They are working together virtually. They're business partners, but they work together, and they are slinging deals all across Florida, making upwards of $200,000 a month. Before we let these guys go, Helena, I want everybody to know how they can get a hold of you and how they can do business with you. What's the best way to connect with Helena Wu?
Yeah, for sure. Reach out to me on my Instagram. It's Helena Wu Abundance, the word abundance. So HELENAWUABUNDANCE.
Helena Wu Abundance. And abundance, she does have abundance of knowledge, abundance of buyers, and abundance of opportunities for you guys to connect with. So make sure you reach out to Helena. Before we go, guys, I want to hear from each of you. What would you say your biggest takeaway was today, Benson?
Man, it was really nice to see it all put together. Like a lot of times we've done challenges, we're seeing just one segment, just acquisition, just disposition. But it was really cool to see the flow today and how it's all interconnected. One thing leads to the next. And it was just cool to see these people operate. Like you said, it's not rocket science. It's not overly complicated, but they're doing the work. And, with a platform like Privy, in every phase we showed people that we can, with Privy as a data set and as a tool, it can limit the amount of work you have to do. You can turn on automation. Deals can show up in your inbox automatically, and you can really automate all those tedious tasks that just suck up your time and take time away from making money.
That's well said, Benson. John?
Yeah, I mean, my biggest takeaway was just that, I feel like we overcomplicate a lot of things, right? And like when you start to really just simplify the process, you see just how easy it is using a tool like this. Because you could see some of the comments, some people's minds were blown from some simple things that we've said. So it just really showed me, just how complicated we make this process. It is really simple. We try to complicate things just, I think, because it helps us either procrastinate or just like if we're not successful, it's because it's difficult. But it really is a simple process. If you just do exactly what we do and do it consistently, like it'll turn into deals. So just don't overcomplicate anything.
100% agree. Helena, how would you like to leave us today?
So I think be patient and focus on quality, because wholesaling is generating cash quickly, but it's not like overnight. Everything, if you want to see result, it requires consistency, especially if you are doing something new and building up your pipeline. Give yourself 3 months, 6 months, and see how it goes. Don't jump between different strategy, different market, and see the grass is always greener on the other side. Give yourself time, be patient, trust the process, and do it consistently. You will see the result.
I absolutely agree. Now, Bobby, as somebody that is, in the background here, what did you take away? Because, you've been around me for a long time. You understand the game. We're going to do some deals together this year for sure. What did you think about this? And as somebody who's, just going to be starting their wholesale career, how did you feel about Privy as a tool to really get you to the results you're looking for?
It feels like it's the 4 steps all in one place, and it was cool to see it in action from beginning to calling a buyer. Like it shows it's like proof of concept, if you will.
I agree. Guys, you see exactly what you got to do. Many of you are already Privy users, so thank you guys again for being a part of this journey with us. And for those of you that are using a competitor, how does it stack up? And does it really? Go to runprivy.com. Again, today and today only, we have a special discount. If you use code FLEX, F-L-E-X, you're going to get $999 for the entire year. That's less money than Helena, John, or I are paying for our Privy memberships. How the hell did that happen, Benson?
I don't know.
It happens. I don't know.
It happens. But good thing we're all rich. What a beautiful, beautiful day. Helena, John, Benson, Bobby, and Corianne, Thank you guys so much. This was really insightful. A great day of value. We dropped tremendous nuggets. So much shared with people here today. I feel like we gave a true masterclass from start to finish, how to get this all done. I love you guys. I appreciate you all so much. And we'll be on Wholesale Hotline in just about an hour. So if you guys have some time, come join me there. Otherwise, any parting words from you guys?
Adios.
Bye, everyone. Thank you so
Appreciate
much.
you guys.
Thank you all.
guys so much.
We love you. Later.